dude, I'm getting sick of all the women around me being like, who's that Dakota bloke?
Don't know him.
And I'm just like, I know one thing about him. He's got a small dick. And they're like, really? I'm like, fucking back on top.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, no, I was fucking talking to mum yesterday, and even she said, like, oh, that Dakota bloke. I'm like, God damn it. Especially, it's the mother thing. If they're mothers, they ask about you.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, one thing which I've always found strange is like, I connect with the older generation, like the women in the older generation. Like, for some reason, like, I just love chatting to like.
Yeah, I think it's because you respond to the language that you were brought up around.
Yeah.
You know?
My mum is the most caring, passionate person in the world.
Yeah, and also you and I are good communicators. Like, I think that's safe to say. And we both use old forms of communication.
Yeah.
You know? I feel like I'm a bit more... I probably have a bit more, like, I try and be, like, savvy with it. I don't know if it works, but I think you're more by the book good communicator. You know what I mean? Yeah, like you follow all the standard principles for communication, whereas I try and be cool with it a little bit, you know?
Yeah, but you pull it off. I wouldn't.
Oh, dude. I think the only way to pull it off is to constantly think that you're not pulling it off.
Yeah, that's right. Add a little smile at the end, that's what counts.
Yeah, dude, yeah. Having good teeth gets you out of most situations you dig yourself into.
I was like yesterday with that shoot, like the whole time they're like, you've got to like keep focused, you got to do like your... But like, to me, like, I like to smile. That's my asset.
Yeah, dude. It's weird that whole mentality behind photo shoots, like, obviously there's two sides of it. The person getting the photo taken. There's three sides of it, sorry. There's the people that make the product getting the photo shoot. There's the photographer. And then there's the model. And it's funny that, like, when you think, like yesterday, for example, your photo shoot, they're going to use those photos to promote the product, right? That's the idea. They're promotional photos. Yeah. So... as just like a creative, hey, do you want to fucking relax? We don't need to be playing with a toy right now. Come on, bring it up here. Come up here. Come on. Watch the coffee. But as a creator, like when I look at a standard modeling picture, I think to myself, well, that's not real life.
That's right, yeah.
I'm never standing there with my foot up on a block, surrounded by girls.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I am, but I'm not wearing activewear.
Yeah.
So
and if you are doing that, you're surely around good girls, so you're going to be like, yeah.
Dude.
You're not going to be like,
yeah. And I mean, and I'm not at all picking on your shoot yesterday, I'm saying shoots in general. And I think like at a broader spectrum, when I look at brands that are doing the same as me, I try and advertise something that's happening and coincidentally they're wearing black ink.
Yeah.
But then you see like, I feel like the straight off the mark thing, like the first thing that everyone does is like goes and poses somewhere iconic in Bunbury and it's like, oh, we're all going to be just hanging out posing in our brand X, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's a bit, I don't know. It's just interesting.
I see it like, I was thinking about it yesterday because like, if I was going through a clothing range and I'm looking at the models and stuff, I've never really, like, especially in the fitness industry, I've never seen a model like smiling. And if I did, I'd, for some reason, like not opinion, but for some reason it's kind of, I guess, been brought into me is that I'd feel creeped out if he was smiling. I'd be like, oh, what's?
Oh, true.
Because it's like that alpha, like,
okay.
I don't know what it is, like, but at the same time, I'd prefer if they were smiling because that would make me feel more.
This is the thing,
connection.
Though. You're deep in it though. From the like, I've been around gyms my whole life, and like obviously I've been like an athlete, so I understand what's going on. Actually, it's really interesting having. I'll give you a side note. We'll come back to this. I was asked the other day about what I think about F45, given my experience with skating. For a non-sportsman, athletic person, nothing. F45 is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
You rock up. They tell you what to do. They tell you how to warm up. They tell you how to stretch. They tell you go from here to here to here to here. Then you fuck off home.
Exactly right. Yeah.
You don't have to think about anything. You know, once you've done that class, you've got your exercise in for the day.
Yeah.
It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, as someone who knows what they're looking at, it's also brilliant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, this is, I mean, sometimes it's fartlek training, sometimes it's interval training, sometimes it's just strength, sometimes it's cardio. Then they do these synergy type classes. Yep. It's brilliant all round. That's one thing. The second thing is in the whole gym industry, like I know most of the basics when it comes to like human movement and function and what you're actually trying to do when you're doing these particular programs and stuff. Most people have no fucking idea what they're talking about.
That's right, yeah.
And the whole thing is built up on looking good in the gym.
Yeah.
It's not built up of healthy lifestyles or a greater picture that they've got going on. It's literally just looking good for that hour and 45 that they're there.
It's mental. Like I look at like, so when people ask me, when I first started training, exercising, back when I was younger, to me, it was like the reason I started was obviously like from school, like getting bullied and stuff like that. That was the reason I got into it. But what I found was when I actually started weight training, it was due to the fact from mental. Like there was like a mental clarity. And to this day, like the only reason I go to a gym today is for my mental health.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, side note, I, nutrition and everything's on point all the time, and I look good, but I don't do it for that reason. I do it clearly just only for my mental health. Yeah. If I miss the gym for a week, I can tell the difference between me mentally and like when I am going to the gym.
There's some crushing that goes on.
Yeah.
To like heavy exercise. Like I get on the bike and it's like I know when I haven't ridden for 2 or 3 days because I get pissed off that the forks aren't sat properly in the drawer, And it's just like, oh, you've got something going on inside you.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the forks. Why don't you go hurt yourself on the bike?
Yep. 100%.
Go push something heavy around,
Yeah.
There's something, I like Joe Rogan's theory. It's like it's killing the inner bitch every day.
Yeah. It's like a crazy thing that you got to feel this exhaustion of energy in a sense to make the body rebalance into a better position.
Bro, we sleep on mattresses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're wearing 4 different materials right now. Life has got way too good.
It's way too easy now.
Like we just wake up to an alarm and we're like, fuck, I might go look at Instagram or some porn or do something. Might just have the day off work today.
Exactly right, yeah.
Where it's like you go back, like 500 years?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're going to wake up when the sun comes up and you're going to immediately start working. You're going to try not to die from a flu. You're going to try not to die from a cold. You're going to hope that the next door village doesn't come and rape and pillage.
Yeah, exactly right.
It is crazy. So now it's like we've got to go to a 45-minute planned out class so we can burn all this excess energy. Yeah. So all this, and also the function of anxiety in a situation that I was talking about 500 years ago compared to today is useful, whereas now it's an ailment.
Exactly right.
And it's like anxiety isn't something that it's not a disease that you get. It's something that's in everyone that you're meant to have. So when the tiger comes over the hill and you hear that fucking branch break, you're like, fuck, there's danger.
Exactly right, yeah.
And now we get it looking at our ex's Instagram page.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, what the fuck?
Things like all these things that today we have, it comes back to genetics from the past and what tools we have genetically in our bodies that we no longer use or utilize. And for some reason, because we don't exhaust them, or like you said, like Instagram or something like that, on there, you get those same overwhelming feelings like anxiety, like why is that person doing that? Why is it doing that? Because we're not getting that opportunity to have that tiger coming at us and go, shit, fight or flight.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, And now, maybe the closest thing you get is driving a car.
Well, that's right,
because it's quick, it's happening fast, there's dire consequences if we don't get it right. I don't know, obviously, like I hang out with some fairly... they're just wild boys. They do crazy things on motorbikes and all that. And it's funny, like, I listen to the people, especially like parents, I listen to their opinions of these people and it's like, oh, these boys are just fucking silly. They're living they're flying too close to the sun. It's like, yeah, but I think you might be living a silent life of desperation.
I think they're living, they're not.
Yeah.
Like my mum literally said to me, because like I've done so many different sports growing up. And literally, I remember mum saying to me one day, she said, if you die, like this spirit, she's like, if you die doing something you love, she said, I'll be proud of you. If you die because you didn't do what you loved, I wouldn't be proud of you.
Bullshit.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we came from a family of like motorsports and, adrenaline junkies. Yeah. So it's like, to us, we have to kind of get that rush occasionally to feel alive. And I can tell the difference, like, if I don't get that rush from something, or if I'm not achieving something, I feel very low and depressed, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I feel like rush and achievement are two different things. I'm fully fucking addicted to success and achievement now. Yeah. And like, especially when you can appropriate that for yourself.
Yeah.
Like my wins compared to your wins, compared to the neighbor's wins are all fucking night and day.
Yep.
So I think like that feeling of like needing to progress and move forward.
Yeah.
I think there's one thing there, but I think the rush thing, like I get it now from doing wheelies in traffic on my push bike. I've toned down on my motorbike for, unknown reasons. But now I get that on my push bike. I think, where did I get it before? And I don't think I did.
Yeah.
But now that I've got it, I'm like, oh, I can't go without it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I have to have it every day.
It's a thrill that you need.
Yeah.
It's a thrill you need. Like all the different sports I've done, and like the weirdest thing now, like, so one thing that I do admit about adrenaline though, the worst part about adrenaline is it gets to a limit.
Yeah.
So how far do you take it? Like, where do you stop, if that makes sense? So, like, especially now with business and stuff like that, I've got to be very careful. Like, I can't deal with an injury. I can't deal with a lot of things because, it will screw me up in the long run.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've got to be able to figure out a way of doing it. And that's where my issue with the adrenaline comes in. That's why I like helicopters. So.
Yeah, dude, adrenaline in business is scary because you're actually going for you're doing a long-term thing.
That's right.
You know, and it's like we're both like on track in 100-year plans.
Yeah.
Most people are living like 3 months away from their next holiday.
Yeah.
And dude, the payoff is like, you know, I'm in the game at the moment of organising these, or either promoting or organising events. And you know, then you work for so long for this shit that's going to last 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly right.
And those 4 hours are going to be gone.
Yep.
You're going to rock up and then you're going to be driving home. You're going to be like, what the fuck happened?
Where did that go?
That's an adrenaline rush.
That's exactly right.
It's nuts.
That's what the best thing with business, like, I've found, like, COVID was the worst thing for us with business, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was exciting. It was thrilling because I seen it on a different, I seen it on, you know, the negative side of what it cost us, but also seen it on the brilliant side of, like, you know, the government and how they ran it and you know, the tactics they put behind it all and different businesses, how they approached COVID and ways they made money and stuff like that. To me, that was a exciting rush because I was learning so much about different strategies onto what to do from a negative situation. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed that part. But
I think a strength in like situations like that is every time something bad happens, there's always an opportunity. Yeah. You have to just really look for it. Yeah. And like I think I'm unique in that I don't personally know anyone who did what I did, but I'm not that unique in that I know this happened on a mass scale throughout the world during COVID. But for me, it was like a great opportunity to go like, right, what tools do I have? And at the time, I was in a caravan with a laptop and a phone, and I built a business. Yeah. You know? So I think the cool part about COVID that like really fucking switched something on is like, oh, I'm a professional problem solver now. Yep. So now anytime something bad happens, like for example, this thing has just happened with my motorbike, it's like immediately going, well, where's the positive here? Yeah. You know, there's got to be a positive. Yeah. And without divulging too much on camera, it's like I've come up with these reasons in my mind, and it may be a coping mechanism or it may be problem solving on a greater scale, playing into a 100-year plan. Yep. Where I go, okay, I was meant to meet these police officers. Yeah. I was meant to have this day in court or whatever it is. I was meant to have this happen so it stopped me from doing this or whatever it might be.
Yeah, it could become a whole lot worse.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've said to my parents that, you know, this may have been an event that saved my life because it was literally people coming to me and saying, you need to calm down. Yeah, yeah. You know? And like one thing's for sure, because we're adrenaline junkies, every time you go out, you try to go harder.
Exactly right. I will admit though, some bloody incredible stuff there.
Oh yeah, we have fun. We have fun. We're good at what we do.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's interesting. That whole situation is interesting, and I actually look forward to looking back at this. I think like with everything bad that happens, you go like, I'm looking forward to looking at this in 6 months and understand exactly what it is. Yeah. Because I mean, like even when it first happened, that kind of like 4 days afterwards, I was just in a haze of like, what does this mean? Yeah, yeah. What the fuck is going on? Yeah. Am I like, and a feeling of like, am I in trouble? Yeah. Like as an adult, you don't really feel in trouble very often. Right, yeah. And you're like, am I fucking, is something bad going to happen? Yeah. Once that kind of passed, then I was a bit more like, all right, what's actually going on here? Yeah. Yeah.
So with that, it's like, because you've got future plans, say for instance, prior to that, you have future plans, like you've got Rise and stuff like that. When that happens, you go, like all that just disappears and you're like, yeah. And it like you're like me, so we're thinking further into the future. Yeah. And when something like this changes and it's uncontrollable, to us it's like, it takes a moment to think about it, but then we come up with a new strategy. Whereas a lot of people, when something negative happens, they just go black off, leave it. Yeah. And then they never ever dwell or work out a situation with that. And I find that's like the difference between a lot of people and business people. Business people come up with strategy because they need to come up with strategy.
Yeah, I think one thing to mention there is like, it's not business people. That's what business does to people.
That's right, yeah.
You know, and if you're going to last, because this is the thing, anything you've got going on, anything, even if it's on its final fucking day, if it's on its final day, you still have a future. You just have to figure out how to change this course to make it work, and it's not tomorrow or next week or next month or maybe next year. You go, fuck, I reckon if maybe doing this doesn't work, but we could do this and this maybe could work then. Yep. That's the mentality.
That's right.
Like, bro, I've been under $1,000 in my bank account for 2 years now, making it fucking happen. Yeah. And I still have no idea what this is going to be. Yeah, yeah. But I'm sure it's going to be something.
Oh, it definitely is.
And I have like, I've now don't even really have anxiety around not having money. It's fucking, it's interesting. Yeah. So it's like, translate that to your average person all of a sudden has something taken away from them from the police, right? And I can see quite quickly how the immediate response is like, fuck this, you know, like fucking dogs doing this to me, rah, rah, rah. It's like, or you did something wrong maybe.
That's right, yeah.
There may be a point of inflection here for you. what can you do with this situation, you know? Yeah, it's just interesting. It's interesting. Being a fucking adult is interesting, dude.
It is. Wish we go back.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't want to go back. I'm grateful for where we are today.
You kind of want to go back to be like an 18-year-old with the knowledge that you've got now.
Oh, if we could do that, man.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I'd have the biggest dick energy.
Yeah, you would be
Dude.
like... I'd probably just get bashed a lot because I was from Manjimup, but it would have been incredible to know this knowledge. I'd be like, oh, guys, do you know this? And they're like...
Yeah, while they're hitting you.
What does that mean?
And in your mind, you're like, I'm going to own a gym one day.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Like, as a kid, obviously, growing up, like, when I went into teens, I knew what I wanted to do when I was older. But down there, it was very hard to, say what you wanted to do because...
It was not the norm, fuck up.
Yeah, and it was pretty much like you get put in boxes down there.
Yeah.
It's a very boxed in community, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's why we came to Bunbury.
So what was your first business venture?
So first business we purchased was Anytime Fitness.
Right.
Yeah.
And what year was that?
I think it was 2015, so 21 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at 21, it's 2015. Gym has kind of like had a boom and died off, and then it kind of had another boom a couple years after, hey?
Yeah. It was pretty much I think even Joe Rogan actually says this on his podcast. If you owned a gym 20 years ago or 15 years ago, like that's from today, 15 years ago, you were you were rich, like you were in the money.
Yeah.
Now it's that overcrowded, like you find that many gyms on every single corner, like it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, and it's funny, man, because again, like I said, it's like the, there's like nightclubs, like Fitzy's, it's like gym is a day club.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
It's like you go there, you dress up, you wear a full face of makeup.
Yeah.
I've got my designer shaker, I'm wearing these shoes.
Yeah.
I'm here with this person, I come at this time because X, Y. Dude, that's Fitzy shit.
Yeah, that's right.
The
most insane thing about that is that you got all these gyms, right? And then you got, say, like you said, someone's coming in, $200 pair of shoes, $100 pants, wearing $500 worth of clothing, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to pay any more than like $15 a week.
Yeah, true.
And it's like, it's mind-blowing because like the clothing makes you look good.
Yeah.
But the exercise is what's going to make you feel good.
Yeah, dude. And also there's something about like, I know I'm super low energy today, so I'm not using myself as an example, but usually when you've got in a workout, like you literally hit the world different.
Yeah.
Like you've got something going on when you've got that out and you're just like, you're like a dog that's just shook all the water off after getting out of the ocean, and like that's an energy and people feel that.
Yeah.
People have that feeling of you're taking your life seriously, they take you seriously. Yeah, it's something weird. But then, I don't know, people will do shit like that where they don't want to pay X amount per week for their gym and then not look at the price of shit when they go to Woolworths and like get 2 coffees every day and shit.
So 2 things on that, like, which is a spin out. And this is only, I'm only going to say this because I'll say the first one first. And I'm only going to say this because 7 years of, owning a gym.
Yeah.
And, we own multiple of them and I look into, the different sales and everything of all the different gyms.
Yeah.
The person that's going to whinge about the money is normally the person that has the most amount of money. So we find that FIFO workers and stuff like that, they come in and they don't want to pay any money. But then it's the people which, which work locally or some of them are studying and stuff. They'll walk in and they don't even question the price.
Yeah, and they buy their subs on the way out and shit.
Yeah. Because they're happy to be there. But whereas I don't know why it's always been like that. It's been this weird...
Dude, I got a fucking problem with FIFO working, I've realised, through having this podcast.
Yeah.
Because I bring it up all the time, but it's funny, here's another situation where, like, FIFO workers have too much time to think.
That's right, yeah, they do.
Just too much time to think.
Yeah.
It's, I'm not there fucking... I know, I think you have timetable period things where they...
So we just give them a slight discount, because obviously they're not here, but think about this for a situation. If you rent a house, and then you choose to go FIFO, does the person who own the house no longer have to get rent because you're not there for that 2 weeks?
No, but for example, if you said to that person, I'm doing this, and there's another room in the house, while I'm not there, I don't give a fuck if you have someone living there. Maybe they do it as well, right? So I see both sides of the coin. Yes, you're correct. But from a business point of view, if it makes you happy as a customer, your retention goes to 3 years instead of 6 months. Let's go.
Yeah.
You're happy to, and even if you go, sweet, I'll give you a 1 out of 3 week deal because you're only here 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
But I want you to sign up for 18 months.
That's right. That's what we do like that. But it's they still think that they should get, say like for instance, pay $15 a week. The membership is. Yeah. They think they just only have to pay $15 when they're home.
Yeah.
and like they shouldn't be in contracts and stuff like that. And to me, like I understand their point of view, but also what we have found, because at one point in time we did try that strategy.
Yeah.
Actually, Australia through all the gyms tried that strategy.
Yeah.
And what we found was an average FIFA worker works 6 months a year because they go 2 on 2 off, right?
Yeah.
Then they also have their 10 personal leave days, plus they've got your 4 weeks annual leave.
True.
So we found if a FIFA worker was doing 2 and 2 and didn't have any holidays, they actually used the club, I think it was like 63% more the time than the average person what lived local.
Wow.
Because when they're home for the 2 weeks, they go to the gym. That's
True.
their day. They're not at
True.
work, are they? So that's what we found. Their usage was so much higher than anyone else's. And you've got to look at it as a business idea. Like a business plan is when someone comes into the gym, we've got to basically acknowledge how many times they're coming, everything like that. So the equipment, obviously, equipment's getting fixed, or how flooded the gym's going to be. We've got like maximum capabilities and stuff like that. So we've got to look at all these different reasonings behind it. And we would prefer to have someone which is going to be able to utilize the club a proper way, then have someone which is going to come in, pay bugger all, and then whinge the whole time because they chose to go on a 2-week holiday during their 2 week.
Yeah, it's funny, I used to go to a gym, I'm not going to name names, but like then that doesn't operate anymore.
Yeah.
And it was fuck all a week, and I remember it was just old fucked equipment.
Yeah.
And it was like, it had that feel of like, everything here weighs as much as it's meant to weigh, you just make it work. And for this is the thing, like when I was skate training, awesome, because it makes motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That gym just made you hard. That was the idea of it. But then later on, when you're just doing it to, get some abs and maybe a little fucking upper deck, you're like, fuck this gym.
Yeah.
It smells.
Yeah.
Like there's no aircon, it's just fans and shit. You're like, this is fucking stupid.
It's like my first gym.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Now you go, that's cool. That's cool until you've been to a fucking nice gym.
Yeah.
You walk in, it's all cool and shit, and you're like, oh god damn.
Yeah.
There's hot chicks in here. What the fuck?
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah. And I remember like being in Manjimup, and I was an apprentice at the time, and I lived out of home as well, so I was paying rent. I had a car, so I was paying the car, and Ty and I used to go to Woolworths, and we used to like write down the dates of the meets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So then basically, because 3 days out, I think it's like 20%. Second day out, it's like 50%, and then on the day it expires, you can go 80% off. So we used to actually go in. That sounds really weird, but we used to go in there and get all the meat right before it was about to go off. Like, we didn't have much money, so we had to do that. But doing all that, I still paid a gym membership, which was $20 a week, and it was it's a really good gym. Now he's moved, but in that time, it was a very small gym, exactly what you were just saying. And when I finally moved to Bunbury, and I went to Anytime Fitness, and the dude said the price, I looked at him and I was like,
what are you talking about?
am I stealing this off you? Like, are you sure you want to do that? Like I was so confused.
That was like the original Homemaker Centre location.
Yeah.
So I think even I went there. I've been to like every gym except for fucking World Gym, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every gym is a good gym as long as the person what's going in there wants to exercise, they want to do something. Like, I think the one thing as a business owner of a gym, which I stick by, because I think mental health is the first thing that we should all be focusing on.
Yeah.
A lot of people said to me like, oh, like this gym's opened up. Like, what do you think about that? And I'm like, I mean, my opinion, if more people are going to exercise, so it means more people in the community are actually going to go and exercise.
Yeah,
that's a win. That's a huge win. That's a huge win for the community.
Yeah.
So
I think one thing as well, like, and like this is a Gary V mentality thing, but dude, there is no such thing as competition.
That's right.
There's people in the same industry as you, and like if you want to see it as a form of like they're doing a better job than us at what we do by this.
Yeah.
And we can apply that to our space, whatever it might be, and improve our shit. Very good. And then let them catch up, and then let you catch up to them.
Exactly.
And then let Bunbury be the destination of fucking brilliant gyms.
Yeah.
And people come here to work out because you got places that are dedicated for this sort of lifting or this sort of training.
That's right. Yeah.
How cool is that?
If you didn't have those other people opening up, you would never internally know that you need to be better.
Yeah, and there's no inclination to get better either.
Exactly right.
That's the thing. Like, for example, and not that I have any problem with the way they've done anything, it's just it stayed very stagnant for a long time. But like the rink has had no reason to improve because there's no other rink doing a better job.
Yeah.
So it's like if you want to go skating, well, you go to the one place that you go skating.
Yeah.
But I think only because we've gone through a skating revolution in the past, like since COVID,
Yeah.
because it was a great sport to do that you could do by yourself outside with just a pair of skates, off you go. It's like, man, I don't see why that hasn't got a full disco system pumping every Thursday,
right,
Friday, Saturday. Like that, maybe there's a room for me to go organise something there. I don't know, but you know what I mean. Like that's one of those situations where like a bit of competition would be healthy.
That's right. Yeah.
And if you had two rinks here and they were battling for fucking dude, that means you want more people skating.
Exactly right. Yeah.
That's the whole goal, right?
Yeah.
That's unreal.
They call it the so this aims local governments. I think it's called Kentucky versus Goliath is the statement. So basically, when I think it was Kentucky Fried Chicken had their chicken shop open, and this other company came. Oh, sorry, it was Goliath was original. Then Kentucky Fried Chicken came out.
Right.
They sued them, basically trying to say that like you're copying what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it went from lawsuit to even local government going in America kind of thing. It was pretty insane, like, because they said we've opened competition, you can't do that, whatever it was. Long story short, there's no reason for someone else not to be able to do what you're doing. There's nothing to say in any way that that's competition.
Yeah.
Like, why would you be able to open something up and that purely be yours, no one else can do it?
Yeah.
It's a very interesting, like, you've got to read through this whole like court case, but the points what were brought out, even like the people who were doing the suing and whatever it was, even they started like arguing for it, like knowing that they were wrong, and they actually then was to carry the court case longer. They actually done studies, and they even admitted, like, you're right, there's no such thing as competition.
Yeah, true.
But they kept it going because it became such a good study case.
Yeah.
And now that's the same thing in local government, same thing in a lot
Dude,
of things.
This is the thing. Like, I was telling a bloke last night at the skate crew. So he came out and he's like day one.
Yeah.
He's like Gumby. And he was talking about, like, I just want to kind of come out and be around you guys. And like, even if you skate off and come back and that, it's like, bro, metal sharpens metal.
Yeah.
You'll get super good by being around other people that are better than you at whatever you're doing.
That's right.
Like, I know I get better at wheelies incrementally, and then someone who knows how to do wheelies will come stay, or I go up to Perth or whatever, and then I'll come home a day later and just done like a month progression in a day. And you're like, what the fuck? It's because you're going like, well, I'm a B at the moment, and that's what an A looks like, and that's what an A plus looks like. Now you're familiar with it. I start aiming for the A.
Exactly right, yeah.
You know?
Because you, until you see it, you kind of limit yourself. It's like my dad said when I was a kid. You can do anything you want. Like, he said, there's nothing in the world you can't do.
Yeah.
You got a heart, you got two hands, you can do it. If someone else can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. It's funny, my mum gave me the same shit, eh?
Yeah.
Just like, there is nothing in this world you can't do. Whatever you do, once you... I was thinking about this the other day. She was very clear about the distinction of making a decision that you're going to do something.
Yeah.
But once you've made that decision, it's possible. But once you got to decide on it, and I don't think she even realised the power behind that, because there is a big thing there. It's whether you decide you're right or wrong, you're correct.
Yeah, that's right.
And once you made that decision, like, oh, black ink isn't going to fail.
Yeah.
Cool, show me.
Yeah.
Like, off you go.
Exactly right.
So something, it's funny that we both had that mantra as kids that you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
And we're just like, oh, okay, can I take over the world?
Yeah. That's kind of like what it's like, though. Like,
Yeah, dude, it fucking is. And I mean, obviously, like, you're a councilman for the Shire of Harvey.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I've been thrown into this area of thinking about running for council in the city of Bunbury this year. And how did you get involved with it? How did it come about?
Long story short, I've always wanted, politics have always interested me because they're where the decision, the policies come into play with state and federal. And when I got into business, I knew I had to set up a business idea, so then that way I'd have more time to be able to do more in the community.
Right.
And basically I knew by helping the community, with the gym, that was my main thing, was the community. I was speaking to Amanda, which she works at the shop next door, and I said to her, I want to do more for the community. Yeah. And she said, well, council. Yeah. And I said, I'm not too sure. Like, I didn't think at that point in time I was ready. But anyway, I looked into it and became a candidate and ran for it. But the way I did it was, I didn't want to, a lot of people go out there and say, as a councillor, I want to do this, I want to do that. The reality is, you're a councillor of 13 or 9 or however many in there, is a decision-making, like council. Yeah. You can't make one decision and that's it. So when I ran for candidacy, I pretty much was very open, honest, just said who I was and everything like that. And then when the news reporters came to me, they said to me, what would you say or do if you don't get elected? And I said, if I don't get elected, I'll be happy, because it's what the community wanted. Yeah. And that's all I cared about, was what the community wanted.
It's a flex, but it's only really an integral flex if the people want you to do the job.
That's right.
It's like, I'm a man of the people. That's what's up. I'm that guy. Yeah. But if it's like you got there because you spent the most on marketing or stuff, whatever it might be, it's like, oh, you got there because you figured out a system to get votes. Exactly right.
That's a big concern we have in local government now. With the new reforms coming in, it's going to become a flex. It's state government. They choose, the Premier. Federal government, they choose the Prime Minister. Yeah. And they've gone out and said, well, local government, we're going to make the people choose who the President is. And now the President is someone you look up to, or the Mayor is someone you look up to with the most respect. That person needs to be the one which is, he's in control of what's going on. You look at to him as a leader.
Yeah.
Now, with them doing this, the marketing and everything's changing as well, which means whoever spends the most amount of money could technically be the president.
So here's a real world example. I've been talking to council members and they've been talking about like your main budget for this whole experience.
Yep.
And I'm like, budget? What part of this costs? And they're like, well, you got to market yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but I don't know if you've been paying attention. I do that for free every day.
Exactly right.
Like hella people know me. So then, and obviously this is the thing, like the first question I asked you was like, dude, I've had an OnlyFans account. I've just had this thing with my bike. I've got these things going on. Does this affect it? And you're like, no, man. It's all to do with the boat.
Exactly.
So not that I have any, negative intention.
Yeah.
But like, what if someone with my sort of, or someone who's got 10 times the amount of reach that I do in this town goes, oh, I want to run for council.
It's plausible. They can run for council, yeah.
That's pretty bizarre.
It is.
It's pretty bizarre.
The thing what I find fascinating the most is like anyone can obviously run for council, same as state or federal. Yeah. Anyone can run for state or federal if they wanted to. And if they've got that outreach already out there, they've got the ability. Like you look at the mayor in
look
Perth.
at Trump.
Yeah, Trump as well. Well, the mayor of
example.
Perth was, a sports reporter.
Yeah.
He did an incredible job. Some will say different.
Yeah.
But he had that ability to jump in and go straight away. So,
dude, this is the thing. So he was a presenter, right?
Yeah.
So then you go, well, how much ability or knowledge or application does a presenter have for this job?
Exactly.
Right. So I ask you, well, how much ability does a gym owner and a glass specialist have in being a councilman? Well, how much time does a t-shirt maker and a marketing guy have for being? Dude, the people asking these jobs, and there's nothing wrong with asking these questions, they have jobs.
Yeah.
And I understand, like I don't know what occupation you might want there, like a lawyer, or I don't know what you want there, someone who's knowledgeable about politics.
Yeah.
I think the thing that it comes down to is like, especially a presenter, you are immersed in the community.
Yeah.
You don't have a fucking option. You know what's going on.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So I think like your situation is perfect. Running a gym.
Yeah.
Dude, how many fucking people go to the gym?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Like
every day speaking to a new person.
You're engaging with the community every day. So I think like on that front, it's interesting. I've found, I'm not saying this is like I'm trying to float my own boat, but I've found recently in my time to reflect that I have time to reflect.
Yeah.
That I have time to go and run these volunteer pick up rubbish events.
Yeah.
And I have time to run my skating event. I have time to be at these other community events that I now know are going on because I'm paying attention to the roster.
Yeah.
So it's like your average person just doesn't have time to be the person doing that research, and like B, have the time to like realize that, like I was a truck driver 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I know you're whatever you are now, but you could be running for council in 2 years' time.
That's right.
It's literally just finding, like you said, you find a way to allow yourself more time in the community, have a business, figure out income streams, think about what's going on, get involved with shit, and all of a sudden, why wouldn't you be a candidate?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Everything, like, no matter, like, I get hit up with this all the time. They're like, I understand why someone would say it, but it drives me insane though at the same time. It's like, because I've accomplished like a good amount of things in my life, but a lot of people you've only done that because A, B, C, D, or whatever excuse they come up with. But that word, the excuse, is the issue there, because anyone could do anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, anyone could be anyone. Like, it's up to you to make that decision and decide what you want to do.
It's like you only got these good things in your life because you worked hard at these other things. You're like, fucking yeah. That's what happened.
Yeah, I committed a lot of things. I committed I haven't had much of a personal life for a very long time. Relationships have always been an issue, but like, it's because it's what I wanted. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I've chosen to make that time and to be where I am. Yeah,
it's fucking weird because you realize, like, as soon as you made that decision, you're like, oh, I'm in a small playing pool here. There's fuck all. And like, I say this a lot to the people that I hang out with a lot. It's like, realistically, like, as I said, we've got time to reflect. We think about different things. We have these ambitious goals and we believe that we can get them.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the footy.
No.
I don't want to talk about some workplace issue you've got going on. I'm not being rude, but I'm trying to take over the world. I'm trying to build an empire.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have no ceiling.
Yeah.
So it's like, then you start talking to, sometimes it's the people you've been talking to for a long time. Sometimes it's, other business owners and that, and you start to realize, like, wow, the people do have vastly different ways of thinking. And most of the time, that is a distinction as to their outcome.
Yeah.
I
can't, that's like one thing I struggle with is when I'm in the gym, I'll small talk to people because, like, obviously it's in the gym and I want to know how they're going. I always ask the questions how they're going and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even in the community and all that type of stuff because I love engaging in the community. But if it's, when it comes to, like, you know, making friends and stuff, that's what I love about you. It's like when you talk, we're talking about, you know, to me it's motivating, it's inspiring, it's making a difference. I can't do that. Oh, did you see the footy on the weekend? Someone won by 12 or whatever. Or Tommy crashed the truck.
Yeah, whatever it is.
I've never been able to do that. Never in my life. Like,
how do you go with gym bros in the gym? Do you have any like troublemakers? Because it seems to be a very testosterone-fueled environment.
We did when I first started at the gym. When I first started working at the gym, we had a couple which caused a lot of dramas. I think the current owner at that time, she was kind of dumbfounded because I was from Mandarin. Like, if someone's doing something, and I'm very blunt, I'm very honest. So if someone was doing something, I'd straight up be honest with them in a respectful way and ask them, like, you know, like why they're doing this, or try and get to the bottom of it if it makes sense. And if you couldn't get to the bottom of it, you just politely ask them to leave. But we've got a wicked vibe now. You still get the occasional person because at Anytime Fitness you can use any gym. Anytime Fitness worldwide. So you still get that odd person from Perth which comes down and
drops their weights and does the shit.
But what we found is that if there's people in there training, everyone else walks in and they see someone respecting something, they respect it too.
Yeah, that's like good mob mentality, eh?
Yeah. So we do get that a lot, which is good.
Yeah, gyms are such a... I don't know whether I've like bitched out getting older, but gyms to me are such a like exciting and scary environment at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, because you know there is that, like, everyone's kind of posturing a certain percent, whether it's 100 or 5% or anywhere in between. But then also it's like there's that expectation where you're like, oh, how big am I and what can I lift? And I normally do 15s, but that dude was just doing 17, so I better do 17.5. You know,
that's right,
like, it's fucking, it's never ending.
I find, like, the funniest thing, like, exactly that. Like, I don't ever try and go heavy anymore. Like, there's just no point. Too many injuries. But one thing I get a lot, like, still to this day, like, people mess me on Instagram and stuff. They're like, you know, like, I'm nervous. I'm shy. I'm like, what's it called? You know, they have anxiety about going to the gym and all this type of stuff. And like, people don't believe this, but like, you can ask my staff members. I'll go to the gym, say like 9:30 in the morning, and I'll be in there for 5 minutes. I'll be that anxious, man, that I've got to leave. Yeah. Like, I to this day, I'm still petrified, and I own the place. I know every single person in there, but that's not because of the environment. It's because it's like something to do with myself. Yeah. And I still get very anxious about going to the gym because, you know, there is that old school freaking mentality where, you know, you're supposed to bench this, you're supposed to do that, but I'm going there for mental health. Yeah. So sometimes I would go in there, I'll be there 5 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I'll go back later, and I'll go back later. I also find that if there's lots of people in the gym, as much as that makes me anxious, as long as I start training, that's when I do the best workouts. Interesting. Dude, I do better wheelies when people are watching me. Yeah. You pick up on their vibe, or you pick up on the fact that they're there, kind of thing, and you... Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's like you add a couple more % to your body's ability. Yeah, there's something to energy. Yeah. You know, there's something to energy. And that's like, you know, we were on one the other day, and it was like, there was one point there where I'm like, this is fucking hell cool. None of this was planned, but just like everyone's on the same wavelength. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like all the banter is just like everyone's on the same sort of joke, same sort of path. Yeah. And it's like, fuck. Whether it's like in a professional environment, even in here, man, some days I feel like the wind is going that way and I'm walking that way. Like I can't do anything right. Yeah. And then other days it's like the ideas just fall in front of me. Yeah. You know, there's something to energy. Yeah. Well, you would know from Sunday. I walk in here, man, and I get this overwhelming vibe of like, to me it's excitement because like this is where shit happens. Yeah, you know what I mean? True. Like this is like, it's like when you're doing the stuff over there and I was filming it, I was like, I'm mind boggled by that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's exciting. And like on Sunday when we're at mine, you know, my office is my sanctuary. That's where I go into. So like when people walk into that, they're like, oh, this is so cool. Like this is where you do certain things and stuff like that. But same thing, some days I'll be working and I'll just feel like, it's not right to be there. It's like collapsing on me. Yeah. But then I'm lucky. I can go to Chambers. I can go to the gym. I can go to Dynamic. I can go to Blake Cartel. Surround myself. I had a fucking realization the other day. I'm like, oh, I'm one of those guys who works from home and works hell hard. Yeah. Usually those two things don't go together. Exactly. If you work from home, you're like, oh, I'll go do something else too. It'll be Sunday morning. I'm like, Riz doesn't wake up for like another hour or so. Yeah. I might go bang out a couple of designs or I'll make some content or something. Dude, that's fucked up. Yeah. Like, I'm just like addicted to fucking, let's go, you know, let's make something cool. I did that, yeah. I'm bad for that too, man. Like, people ask me all the time, they're like, man, you're mental. Like, why would you do that? Sometimes I go to bed, you know, like, I'll be asleep by 9 o'clock. And it's like 1 a.m. in the morning, I wake up and I'm just like, I'm wired, I'm ready to do something. So I'll jump on the computer and just, even if it's not anything to do with business, I'm just learning about.
Bro, I love being in the space.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, even if that's like, oh, I'm feeling creative, but I don't want to create anything, go on Pinterest and save a bunch of shit.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
You know, do something.
Yeah.
And like, I'm even got this thing now where I try and like, you know, back in school you brainstorm something, like literally you put something in a bubble and you go like, oh, this. Oh, there, perfect example on that whiteboard.
Yeah, I was looking before, yeah.
Like, just fucking get things down.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you have that commitment to like, oh, I'm just gonna just see what happens.
Yeah.
Bro, there's magic in there.
That's exactly right.
It's fucking crazy. Like, I was talking to Nana on the phone the other day. She starts telling me about, dude, funny story. It was not funny. It's interesting. We're talking about the Book of Revelations, which is the last book in the New Testament, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, last book in the New Testament. So it talks about basically what's going to happen at the end of the world.
Yeah.
So Nana's like, we've got about 7 years left. There's the Antichrist will arrive. There'll be a rapture, and you know, if you're a child of God, you will rise up to heaven and spend life eternal with Him, which obviously is the plan. So anyway, I'm looking at my Bible, which is actually Dad's old Bible that I found one day, and I thought I'll keep this. And I was like, my Bible, and in the front it's got deaths, and I said, who's this person? She goes, oh, that's my dad. And I was like, really? Died in 1977. Interesting. She's telling me all this stuff about it. I was like, oh, so this was your maiden name? And as it turns out, this particular name, I don't want to say it, so when I release it, it looks cool. This name is such a fucking gangster name to make a design out of.
Yeah.
So I'm like building a concept for a graphic in my head of what this is going to look like. And obviously, like at the same time, she's telling me about character traits of him that I'm like, oh, that's where I get that from. That's where I get that from. So I'm having this like deep connection with this story, and at the same time, my mind is like giving me a color scheme, giving me like the way the word's going to sit, giving me how the words underneath are going to sit, and it's just like, oh, this is fucking art happening.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
love that.
Oh, and just so fucking cool. So cool, you know?
Talking about that was one thing, like creativity. Business is creativity at the end of the day, kind of thing.
Yeah, bro.
And people don't realize that. Like, I used to do paintings and art when I was younger.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like I don't do it anymore. But the whole business aspect, or, you know, like even doing house renovation, everything we do is a creativity. It's like we're creating something out of nothing.
It's a creative pursuit, for sure.
And it might not be drawing a picture, but like you're just saying, the concept of it coming out of your head. Like, I've explained that to people before. Like, if I'm sitting there and I'm thinking logically about business and where I want to go, I'm pulling files out and I'm placing them there and I'm thinking through it, putting it here. And people are like, yeah, but it's in here. It's like, no, like you're literally pulling it. It's there, and you're going to put that aside and you're going to grab this one. You're going to.
We are all but you being able to see that from being real.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I can, and like even, I mean, this is the thing. So here's a good example. I've recently gone from being able to know what all my jobs are on the go, like have them up on the board and like have a few things in my diary. I now have so many ongoing jobs that I can come back to and be like, what the fuck is this? What garments, what graphics, what have I charged them or anything? So I realize like my business has now got to a point where I have to develop a system that allows me to file this stuff and like be able to keep account of it. So then you're faced with a question, you know, you're me for a second. You do everything. You do the marketing, you do the invoicing, you do the creating, you do the imaginative shit, you do absolutely everything. And now you have to come up with a new structure for your workflow to make sure that nothing goes astray, that it's all time-based and all the rest. Bro, that's a creative as fuck pursuit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
At the end of that, you literally like, because, I mean, that's not something you just come up with.
Yeah.
That's something where you're like, okay, if I did this and I use sticky tabs, or if I use this program, or, bro, it's fucking...
Best part about that is I've had so many people go, oh yeah, but you just go, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. you do this. Yeah, but 7 to 9 a.m. one day is this, the next day is that. Like, we're forever, every day is changing. Like,
so
split
different.
second.
So different.
So to have that, you know, that plan made, created, and then to flow with a fluctuating lifestyle and, you know, business happening every time, it's unique.
Well, even you called me on Thursday. And you said, hey, I need 16 of these tees, 3 of these work shirts, and then Homeboy messaged me afterwards and said, I need 1 of these banners as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I've got a full schedule of work for a week.
Yeah.
You know, before this.
Yeah.
And now we've got to get this done in time for, I know that has a certain time date. Yeah. And I mean, that I'm at the point now where, and you probably passed this point a long time ago, I don't even get stressed out anymore.
Yeah, no, there's no such thing as stress.
You just write it down. You're like, all right, I guess I'll fucking source these shirts and stuff.
You rip this part of my body, go over there, and I'll do that part. Yeah, like you just, it's mental.
Yeah, if you learn to ride that wave though, fuck man, it's like the most rewarding.
It is.
And it's really like, I find, going back to the like not having money thing, I feel like if you don't worry about money and you don't let the stress of like, oh, fuck, now I've got to rearrange this, the wave looks after you.
It does, yeah.
You'll just start to get to the sand at the bottom of the ocean, that a big wave will come and you lift back up. You're like, oh, fuck, I thought I was going to die for a second, you know?
Yeah, 100% agree with you.
It's fucking wild. I'm just waiting for those waves to keep getting incrementally bigger, you know?
Yeah.
So one day I'm like, oh, I can afford shopping and fuel this week, you know?
No more bike.
Oh, well.
It's like, like with everything that's been happening in life lately, like the reason I've just finished painting my house is because, like you're talking about the thing, I got to the point like I couldn't, like my memory was getting so like blurred out. I used to just walk around the house, and if something came to me, I had a text, bro. I was just writing shit on my walls. My whole house literally was written up. Like December and January was just like I just wrote everything from personal life to business life to everything. It was insane. It looked like a buddy, like I should have been put in a home.
Fuck,
like,
man, nah, that's actually like, I feel like that's one of those things. You know how like the first night you sleep in a house that like you own, you're like, I got to smoke in here because now I own a house.
That's right, yeah.
You know, like I don't even smoke. I've never wanted to smoke a cigarette indoors, and you're like, fucking here I am in bed, smoke ashing on the floor because it's fucking mine.
Exactly right. I can do this,
dude. It's like the first time you took your parents somewhere in your car, and they went to change your radio station. You're like, don't you fucking dare!
I'm in control of this.
This is my car, all right? And they're like, yeah, I gave you the money. You shut the fuck up.
When aircon on, heaters are on, mate.
Yeah, there's something about that, and I feel like as a creator, like, bro, if I could write on these walls, there'd be nothing hanging on them.
Yeah,
or
beautiful.
As a full creator, you just write in all the oh, that's too much.
Bro, I love it. Like, the coolest thing about doing it, like, I did it last time as well. Like, the exact same thing last time as well. You just got to make sure you don't use like proper permanent black texture because that comes through paint quite often.
True.
Yeah, so that's why my walls are that dark grey now.
Dude, you'd hit it with fuck, what could you do? Because like
sanded it most back this time.
Ideally though, you want it as all a whiteboard.
Yeah.
You know?
Bro, that's like dream.
Yeah. You know those whiteboards, they're like this big?
Yeah.
On the rotate on the stand?
Yeah.
It's like I've got all these like weird size ones. Essentially that whiteboard there on one of those rotator stands.
Yeah.
I'd love like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
Just
imagine if your wall was that, bro.
Yeah. You know what's the level up is like if it was all touch screen shit.
Oh.
I know. And then you connect it to VR shit so you can like design something and then you can put it on the screen and...
Yeah.
Goddamn, dude.
So when I moved to Bunbury, so I moved to Bunbury, had the apartment in Bunbury. And obviously it wasn't mine, I was renting it. So I couldn't put anything on the walls.
Yeah.
But everything was going on. So I used to type it all up and print it. And I remember someone coming over one day and there was 2 rooms that no one was allowed in.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, what's in these rooms? I walked in there, they're like, you like an FBI agent or something?
Yeah.
What the fuck
shit up on the walls.
Yeah, every wall had information, but like they were like, but how? And I was like, because everything was in my like perfect planning order, so I knew everything. Knew what wall to look out for, what business, or you know what's happening there. Or
I feel like you get to a certain point where you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Like I'm almost there. That like I honestly have so much shit going on. Where it's like to effectively execute any of these things, I need a better filing system.
Yeah.
And I think also like there's that, it's called the Pazitsky effect. That's not a real thing. It's off a podcast I watch. But the idea is that instead of like taking the phone charger out of there every morning and plugging it in here and then every night plugging it in there because that's where you sleep, you can just buy a second phone charger.
Exactly right. Simple.
You know? And it's like these ideas that we have where it's like, oh, if I was a madman and had anything my way, the whole fucking wall would be a whiteboard. It's like, bro, you're a fucking adult.
Yeah.
Go make it a whiteboard,
you
know?
Go
do it.
Yeah.
Go get all the coloured fucking whiteboard markers under the sun and just have fun. You know what I mean?
Excited.
Yeah. It's like you can fully just go do
exactly
that.
Right, yeah.
And it's like then, again, as a businessman, you have this opportunity to go like, dude, if that fully will help my bottom dollar, let's go. Right now, get whiteboards.
Yeah.
It's wild, man.
I love it.
That's probably the most addictive part about this lifestyle. It's like the freedom is sick. Like I can just, yesterday, hey, we still on for this podcast, 9:15, I'm bringing coffee, sweet.
Done.
That's a very cool part.
Yeah.
And like I really take advantage of that now. Like Dad's like, oh, I'm going to Perth today, I'm going to do this. It's like, I'm fucking there.
Yeah.
I don't have the time or money, but I don't have the time or money not to.
Exactly right, yeah. We can value things a lot better.
Yeah.
Experience things.
The second thing is like, dude, and I say this loosely, if you can justify an expense, you can justify an expense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I go, I need a new front and back chainring and like cranks and that for my bike and that. And not even like as a tax justification, like for my personal justification to spend $300 on my bike.
Yeah.
It's like if I don't ride that every day, my business feels it.
Yeah.
put whatever you want on there.
Exactly right. Yeah.
You know, and then prove every day for the next 6 months that it was worth that money.
Exactly right. Yeah.
You know,
well, it's like so we've like, you know, business and council night type stuff for a long time. With business, I've always just worn, you know, my like staff clothing, like what my staff wear and stuff.
Yeah.
Which was always good, but it was causing, like, I call it like the bubble effect, whereas I was working internally in the business, which I shouldn't have been internally working in. I should have been externally on the outside doing my work rather than doing that at night time. And obviously with everything that's happened, you know, recently, so I was like, screw this. I'm going to, like, because with council, I wear a suit all the time, and I love wearing a suit.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy nice clothes that I can wear on the daily, which makes me feel professional, feel good about myself. And that's why I went out and I brought, you know, the nice clothes, and I came here, and Newsboy was like, man, they look amazing. Like, no judgment there whatsoever. And I was like, you know, that's what I'm going to wear.
I'm pretty sure I called you a fag like 6 times. But
I'm pretty sure on the phone Sunday when I told you I was sitting on the grass shaving my legs.
What are you doing? Oh, I'm shaving my legs. I'm like, that is literally the gayest thing you could have said.
Yeah. Well,
and dude, it is straight up. But you want to shave your legs?
Yeah,
shave your legs, bro.
I love trimming my leg hairs.
I wear fucking these tiny black short shorts every day, and no one says a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Like, I was like, so I like trim shave everything, and I love it. It just to me, it's like it's another one of those weird things what make me feel good.
Bro, I used to flat out shave everything for like skating and cycling and for myself for years.
Yeah.
And then one day I was like, this is too much energy, and never did it again.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
So,
beard, like I trim my beard all the time.
Yeah.
And that's not because, you know, like I like my beard trimmed. It's just because I have to be a man and say that I couldn't grow one.
Yeah, true.
But if I just trim it all the way down how it is, I feel comfortable. It's good.
Man, the whole beard thing's weird, hey. Like, I've only just been able to start, since I met Riz, that was like the day I started growing a beard, it seems.
Yeah.
She's seen me without a beard like twice.
Yeah,
You know, it's funny.
I couldn't imagine you. Like,
well, now you can't, but like, I couldn't grow a beard until I was literally fucking 27. Yeah. Like, it was crazy. Nowhere near.
It's my year.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Dad always said to me, you get a beard at 30.
Yeah.
Like, fucking oath, he was and like I turned 30, like 2 months ago?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'd call this just about a beard. I got a bit to go, but it's funny, I'm letting it really go now because I'm going on that trip over east.
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are, you need a fucking scraggly beard while you're going across an Ullabar, right? Otherwise, what are you doing?
Definitely, bro.
What are you fucking doing?
Definitely need one.
So I said to Caleb, you got to trim me up like maybe a week before.
Yeah.
And then that way, during the trip, I'll get it a bit messy. By the time I'm there, I'm just a fucking messy bike.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Biker.
Exactly, yeah. Biker, yeah. Keyword there.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fucking... How did we get here? Shaving legs, gayest thing you could have done. Oh, feeling comfortable in smart clothes.
Oh, yeah. So that's why I like to wear nice smart clothes now.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I feel like my my output, like my daily output, goes up by with wearing clothes and shoes. Yeah. Yeah. If I wear shoes and especially put my hair in a plait, I know that I for some reason that switches something on my mind. Like, I'm in uniform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same as like when you put on those long sleeve high vis, you're like, I'm going to work.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm putting on shoes and doing my hair, it's like, fuck, I must be at work. Yeah. And my output is crazy. Like it's night and day different. Yeah. But then you allow yourself a chill day by just fucking running the Crocs and the top knot, you know?
Yeah. That's the other thing. Like I've noticed in the last 2 months, I wear this, and this means, so this is like council business. So this means everything I'm trying to do as much as I can. But with like, our uniform and stuff, when I put them on, man, I feel like another level. I'm like this excited feeling. Like I get to go do this work now, like, whether it's glass or at the gym or Blade Cartel. And I go there and I do it all. And as soon as I finish it all, I take that clothing off because I go, I'm not doing that, so I got to take it off.
Yeah, that's that sectioned out, yeah.
Yeah, and I work so much harder in that moment I put those clothes on though. Like it's this weird thing, whereas before I'd have them on and I'd be like dicking around doing something here and there and, I wouldn't be putting in so much performance.
That's the same thing as people wearing $500 to the gym.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I've got on all this high-tech fucking sports gear so I can squat 80 kilos.
Yeah,
you know?
Right, yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I brought one of those sports watches. Still sits on my cupboard now. Apple watches.
Bro, I want one of the fucking F45 heart rate monitors. Blows my dick off that they're $99 though. Yeah. It's a heart rate monitor that hooks into only their system. And it's like, it's $99. It's like, dude, you imported these for $5 a piece from China and put an F45. Hey, I'm here for it. Yeah. But fuck me.
Yeah, especially because you're already coming there.
Yeah. If I'm a member, it's like, fucking 79? Come on, cut me some slack. Nah.
Maybe I should do that. Sell the fob keys to get entry, but then you've got to get another fob key to get the entry, and then you got to buy for the watershed fountain.
Yeah.
Business idea.
Dude, you got to hit them from every fucking angle.
Oh, can you imagine?
It's like the Australian government and tax.
Oh,
it's
man.
Like, bro, by the time you get $1, we've taxed you 43 times.
Yeah.
You know?
It's unbelievable.
Fucking crazy.
I think it says, is it $1 goes through 8 hands, there's no longer a dollar in existence.
Wow.
So I think it's might be less than that. I was talking to Rob about this yesterday and trying to explain it all, like how your GST works, then how your taxable income works, and then your personal tax on top of that, and the superannuation on top of that. And then like, and he's sitting there and he's like, I don't have any money left after you explained all that. And I was like,
that's the point.
That's the whole thing, man. Like,
Yeah.
if you own a company and the company is, say, worth $1 million, technically speaking, now every single accountant or anyone's going to say that's wrong. But the fact of the matter is, by the time you get your taxes done, they own 63% of that.
Yeah. And this is the thing, like, on our pursuits, it's like I'm trying to be a millionaire, and it's like, well, if I'm going to have $1 million, I kind of have to make 3.5, 4.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because by the time, whatever cost it takes to get there, by the time everyone's take their cut, employees tax, everything, it's like to get $1 million, we're talking about 5.
Yeah.
So that whole, like, I mean, this is the thing, like, I've had under $1,000 to my name for 2 years.
Yeah.
Is actually kind of easier than being in your position because I've got a lot less moving parts.
Yeah.
You know, for every tax bracket you go up, it comes with like new shit, not just a new amount of tax you've got, but like new levies that you fall into, new things that you have to make sure you're abiding by. Yeah. It's fucking
Which I just
crazy.
got stunned with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, personal tax, because like I didn't even think about this. Client and I have always paid ourselves just a medium wage kind of thing because, you know, tax reasons and stuff like that. But become an accountant, so you get your sitting fees.
Yeah.
And they can fluctuate between 16 to some councils are on 40 plus. Like it's insane depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
And anyway, I made 21, I think, for the year. So during that 21K, you've got to obviously pay tax on that.
Yeah.
And you know, if say you only make under 60 grand, it's not much. But because I made over that next threshold, end up having to pay, I think it's like, because we've taxed, like by the time I've put all my claims in there, I've got to give them $5,500 back.
Wow.
So, and if I hadn't done that, it's about 12 grand. So which means 50% of that time I was working, I was doing it for free.
Yeah.
Which is like pretty crazy to think that if I wasn't paying myself that medium wage and paid myself a little bit less, I would actually be more in front.
Yeah. And like ideally, you want to make under that 20, is it 21.5 or $22,000 a year and just pay no tax.
Exactly right.
You get taxed every week, but you just get it all back.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Which, I mean that's my next step, is turning this from a sole trader operation to a company with. Yeah. I think I'm actually going to go. I've been talking to some smarter people about this, and I think I'm going to organize 3 separate businesses.
Yeah.
It'll be Black Ink the brand, Black Ink Print, which will be called something else, and then another thing I'll tell you off camera. But that and then obviously you then have like a company which is a whole separate entity, and then it's all the money that's made. It's like just keep it in the company.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then that way, you know, it's not yours, but it's yours.
Yeah, that's right. The company tax is only 26% at the moment, so heaps better.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's crazy that's just like, that's a very common bit of information for. Well, let's explain that. So once you get to that point, so right now, if I make $100,000, I think I pay 47% in tax or something.
Yeah, sound crazy. Yeah.
Now, if I have that same $100,000 and I make it as a company, I'm only obliged to pay 26% in tax.
Yep.
And that 26% is stuck for any amount of money. Correct. So if I make $1 million, now I think if I make $1 million as an individual, I think you pay 60.
Oh, it goes up. Yeah, it keeps going.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So now you literally get to a certain point where that threshold of money you actually get, it doesn't grow exponentially. It's exponentially in how much it doesn't grow.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
You know, so you make it more and they're like, here's more tax. But as a company, it's just locked at 26.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a very common bit of knowledge for businessmen.
Yeah.
But for your average person working FIFO, or working fucking 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, they have no reason to know that.
That's right. Yeah, exactly right.
You know, and like there is actually a good portion of the population that are in a situation where my mum is currently going through this, where she's making the transition from employee to subcontractor.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I know it seems crazy. You'll have to organise your own tax and your own super and all this, but you will make more on the same wage.
That's right. Yeah. And you know the best thing about it is even the company saves money as well.
Yeah, because they're not paying fucking sick leave and they're not doing all the bullshit.
Personal taxes and everything else on it. Yeah.
And like this is the thing. A lot of you say, oh yeah, but my company won't let me do that. If you just take 6 months to understand this and prepare yourself and go in there and say, hey, here's my business, here's my ABN, here's my insurance, here's all my bullshit. I've done all the research. All you have to do is take me off this and put me on as that. Yeah. I do the exact same job, and I tell you what, I'll even work from home 2 days a week. Yeah. Let's go.
Happy to do it, bro. That's a big thing. Like this is actually something which is, I don't know where it's at the moment, state government or federal government or wherever it sits. But about 2 years ago, I know South 32 or one of the mine sites out there was doing it, and it's if everyone actually went to become a contractor, if that makes sense, it would screw the tax system up so much because they're unable to tax those people at the 36 cents or the 41 cents.
True.
Yeah, so this is the big issue they have with it. So even though state government, local government, federal government, well, local government's local, but state government, federal government, right? They're all about the community, the people, whatever, the tax and stuff. At the end of the day, they have a very, very big business to run, and a business needs to make money. For every day something goes up, interest rates go up, inflation goes up. They need to make more money. How do they make money?
True. Tax the people.
Tax the people.
Yeah.
Now, by us doing this and putting everyone on a lower income tax, so basically a company goes 26%, right? And then say you're a subcontractor all of a sudden and you're not paying 36 cents to the dollar on taxes. And I'm also claiming GST on you, mind you. So I'm saving another 10 cents to the dollar there.
Yeah.
The government's losing like 25 cents to the dollar.
Yeah, okay. I know this is a side argument coming from someone who's very uneducated, but in that particular situation, you would have more people engaged with understanding how their finances work and probably have a higher priority in spending their money locally because I understand what that actually means.
Yeah, that's
correct. What I mean? By Blade Cartel spending whatever it was last week on me, that makes a direct impact to someone in your community. Yeah. So if they spend that same $1,000 on a Chinese brand or that same $800 on a Pakistani brand, it's like, you get the same product, or you get a lesser or better product. That money is fucking gone. Exactly. Like it's so far away now. Yeah. It's not coming back. And so then you go, okay, does the stimulus effect that causes through spending 20% more or spending 30% more on a local product, but knowing that like, oh, I'm giving that money to Susan. Yeah. Susan spends her money at Mick's fucking butcher. Yeah. And I know Mick, he gets all of his bread from this local, and I know it's a very rudimentary example that I'm giving.
But it's correct though.
But that's how shit works. Yeah. And like at the moment, I feel like I was a victim of this. Like I have no problem sending Nike $250 to get these pair of shoes that they sold in America, were made in China. All of this was engineered somewhere in the Cayman Islands, blah, blah, blah. And I get my shoes and I'm like, I'm the fucking man. Yeah. Because you just don't understand what the power of $250 in a local person's hand compared to Nike's. Yeah.
100% agree with you there.
It's fucking crazy. If you don't have the knowledge, you're not going to make the decision like that. Yeah.
100% right. But the thing is, someone asked me one time, I said, why don't we learn taxes in school?
Yeah, why would they?
Why would they want to give you the answers to the biggest problem we have? That's going to screw them over at the end of the day. And it sounds very like, what's the word? Like, I don't know. Conspiracy theory. Yeah. Which I understand, someone will think that because not everyone knows the understanding of how the taxes work and how the GST works and all this type of stuff. But if someone literally just took 6 months of their life and actually generally had a look at how it all works, like the what's it called, the banking, so the banking system. Yeah. So they don't actually own money that they give you as a loan. Yeah. Yeah. They create money.
We've gone so far past the gold standard now. Yeah. And the agreements are like, you can create more money if it floats our economy. It's kind of this thing though. It's like, I can't think of a good analogy on the spot, but it's like, they're like, fuck, we're not going to live the next couple of minutes. And it's like, oh, go suck oxygen out of that person's body so that they die, but you can live a couple of more minutes. And they've just been doing that until everyone around them is dead. Yep. And now we're kind of at a point where everyone's like, how are we $49 gazillion in debt and there's only like so much in circulation?
Australia's $51 trillion in debt. Who to?
Yeah. Do
you know, craziest thing in the world, what's it called? The Royal Commission, or whatever it's called, so the Banking Royal Commission. Right. Technically, legally, now this is technically and legally, don't know what it is as of today's date, owns 71% of the Earth. Yeah. Because I have a bank loan, right? So that bank loan comes through Westpac. Westpac created it through basically the banking system, which means they technically own
your shit.
My shit, right? Yeah. But who is that?
Yeah. Bigger question, how much is the world worth?
Well, that's exactly right.
Kanye asked that on Rogan, and he's like, I'm not going to do his accent, but like, I know this is a dumb question, but what's the world worth? Yeah. And I remember thinking like, that is a dumb question. I have no idea though. Yeah.
It would be a very interesting question.
When the aliens come, they're not going to ask for money.
No, won't help.
Like, how crazy is that? Like, I know that's so obvious, like, oh, what would they have any use for money for? It's like, that's how serious we take money though.
Yeah, that's right.
Like when someone holds you up at midnight and puts a gun in your mouth, what are they asking for?
Exactly right.
Money. Yeah. That's how important it is to us. And it's just fucking crazy that if it is that important, like, I don't know in my adult life since, becoming conscious at like 17 years old, and even before that, dude, I was selling fucking fairy floss down at the markets. I got my first job at 13 mucking stables. Yeah. Like, bro, I've been trying to make money my whole fucking life. Yeah. So much so that now, like, obviously, I was going to say, I don't know how anyone else doesn't take money seriously, because people definitely can. But I think understanding how much of an indicator and how much of a like tool you can use it for whatever you want, it makes sense to really know what it is.
Exactly right, yeah.
Like it really makes sense. And like you said, take 6 months off and just learn.
Just learn.
You know, and don't learn as if you're curious. Learn as if your whole fucking life depends on it. Because that's what's going on.
When you read something, reread it and then read 50 different things on that thing. And then don't take what that one paragraph said and say that's literal, because there's 15 other paragraphs, and out of those 15 other paragraphs, you'll find the truth across the whole board.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a scary part about, especially the situation we're in. You have to make definitive choices all the time.
Right.
And realistically, you're rewarded at the faster you make them and the slower you undo them.
Exactly right.
So I think one thing that I try and maintain is like, just always be the dumbest person in the room. Just always be asking questions. It's like, if you're into this particular thing, ask about that particular thing. Because they're going to give you a little bit of insight over here, and you may not use it for 12 months. But then you're talking to someone over here, and A, you've got something to talk about. And B, now you've got a reference point. You hear their point of view, you go, okay, so if they said that, that tells me there's a general truth here about this.
Exactly right, yeah.
You know?
Mind you, can I just go to the restroom quickly?
Yeah, fucking oath.
I'm busting for a wee, bro.
Yeah, it's a skill. I'm like a Rogan apprentice, eh?
Yeah, I pee so much. It's ridiculous. Oh. Do you wake up to go to the toilet in the middle? So do you wake up to go to the toilet in the middle of the night?
Yeah, I'm a man.
So what happens?
What do you mean?
The bed?
Huh?
Do you wear the bed or do you get up?
No, I piss before I go to sleep, and then I piss when I wake up.
How do you do that? Bro, I'll wake, like, this is not even lying. Like, on average, I'd say, now this is really estimating low.
Yeah.
I'd say minimum 4 times a night.
That's nuts.
That's minimum. Bro, there's some days where I could say at least 8 times, and I'll drink 2 of these.
Yeah, you got a child's bladder.
Bro, I don't know why.
You and Riz are the same. Just like halfway through shopping, like, she's not that bad, but... No, I'm fucking...
I could do that.
I definitely had a period, though, where I was like, I would wake up to piss. I remember I was talking to Seb Italiano about it. He's like, yeah, man, I wake up every night to piss. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I did it for like 6 months. And then just one day I was like, I'm fucking sick of like being all groggy and shit walking through the house. So now I don't know what it is. And it's not like I wake up busting for a piss either. Yeah. I just wake up and then you're like, oh yeah, I guess I could.
The weirdest thing is I've had the same conversation with Seb while he's been tattooing me.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Maybe this is more of a Seb thing. Hey?
It is, yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, that's gold.
Seb's one of those dudes, man. It's fucking crazy. I ran into him at the UFC, and it's like every time you see him, it's like you were hanging out 15 minutes ago. Yeah. He's just like, oh, dude, you again.
Yeah,
you know?
It's insane. That's why I love him doing my tattoos. Like, I get more tattoos on 8th of March.
Yeah.
I'm so keen for it. Because like last time I
leave on the 8th of March. Let's go.
Like, last time I seen him was that.
Oh, yeah, true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was thinking my last, because he did all my ass.
Yeah.
So that's like my last big tattoo. Oh, no, I got this from bloody Torleon. But yeah, he, when he did my ass, man, that was fucking wild, because it's like you just committed to talking about shit for 6 hours at a time, you know? Man, and him and I can talk some shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
That's where mine is right now. We're going on to my ass right now. And that's why last time I was with him, we were talking about you, because we're talking about you getting your ass tattooed.
True.
And I was like, oh my God.
Always leads to talking about pissing in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah. So I guess it's somehow related, but.
Yeah, man. Seb was like, because I met Seb when he was the apprentice, when I was hanging out at the shop ages and ages ago. And he was just always a guy that was like, oh yeah, like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of dopey.
Yeah. And
now you talk to Seb and you're like, dude, you might be more of an adult than I am.
Yeah.
You know?
He's switched on now.
Yeah. It's cool.
Unreal. What were we talking about before? I can't remember now.
I wanted to get your opinion on something, but I fucking forgot what it was. Oh, yeah. Are you fucking with all of this, seems like I'm jacking Club Good right now, but I don't think anyone's going to know the reference between the two of us.
Yeah.
But do you fuck with like all these UFO sightings lately?
I've seen them come up on my YouTube, but I haven't looked at a single one.
Man, I think it's like, I was listening to an old Rogan podcast this morning, and he was saying that he used this analogy, like imagine you're an ant, say in like the middle of the forest in Dwellingup.
Yep.
Right? And you've never interacted with humans, you've been alive for like 10 days. Instinctually, you make your colony. You know, you use fucking sticks and twigs and this and that to, you know, build rooms and shit inside, and you help the queen and rah. Then all of a sudden, this fucking dude is just like walking through the forest one day because he decided to go for a walk, and he steps on top of your antlion and fucking ruins everything.
Yeah.
Right? And he just continues on moving, right? Who's saying the likelihood that obviously I think there's more known, is it, oh no, it can't be known. There's like more galaxies or more something than those grains of sand on Earth, So the likelihood of there's something being out there that's been alive even for like 100 million years longer than us is so high that if they did come and visit us, the likelihood of them even being on the same wavelength of communication and like looking down at these animals or whatever they are, instinctually doing whatever it is, creating things and fucking making porn and making iPhones and having jobs that we can afford these things, it's like whatever that is, like it's the same as ants making it's the same as what humans are to ants is what we would be to aliens.
Exactly right.
So it's like when you think about that, makes you look at everything like, oh, we're hell smart because I'm recording a podcast on an iPhone 14 Plus. It's like, that's not shit, bro. They can probably move through like time and space. Like we're just impressed by this because we're at the pinnacle of what we've ever experienced.
Exactly right.
But when it comes down to it, like, we've probably been visited multiple times. We're probably living among aliens for all we know.
Wouldn't know about it.
Because if you were an alien and you had the technology to do things, you go like, for sure, chucking, what do they call an NPC down there and let them just fucking collect data for us.
Yeah, exactly right,
You know?
Doing the most weirdest thing in the world is, so when I sleep, I listen to, like, I'm really weird. Like, when I sleep, I have to listen to stuff. And one of the things I love.
This is why you piss so much.
Probably, yeah.
It's just a mantra saying you will wet the bed.
Yeah, probably. It's like just on repeat. I said some weird shit. I learned about solar systems. So they're talking about habitable like planets and stuff like that, because it has to be a certain zoning for a planet to be habitable. And all that type of stuff. But pretty much the thing with aliens, and the thing what's really complicated, what people don't understand, is for an alien to actually come and visit humans, right, they have to travel X amount of light years.
Right.
Now, if you were to be in a spaceship going 1 light year, so to get up to the speed of light, for 5 minutes, 7 years passes.
So it's an age problem.
It's an age problem. So I think it's like a 1 hour works out to be 100 years. 1 year works out to be 1,000 years. So and all that type of stuff. So imagine an alien, right, comes to Earth right now. They go light years, boom, to us. Well, by the time he even thought about leaving, you and I have already gone existence. 20 of our generations have already gone through. He's gotten here and it's only been 5 minutes of his time.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So he would have had to do it like 100,000 years ago for it to be relevant right now.
Exactly. And that's the most complicated thing with time and space. So the fact of UFOs, people saying like, reporting UFOs and all that type of, it's so plausible. But also what's scary about it is that was their technology thousands of years ago. We're only finding out about it now. Yeah,
but you're talking about moving through time and space in a way that we understand. There's a likelihood that they can bend time.
Well, that's what they're also working at now. Is so they're calling it so you do your different wavelengths and stuff like that. And we actually did. Now this sounds crazy because it's been done before, and we used this to actually survey the moon. So we actually sent a satellite out into space, and we jumped onto the rotation of the moon, and went on at the same wavelength. And basically, we ended up getting this satellite almost, I think it's 50 miles off moon. It was doing 50,000 kilometers or 50,000 miles an hour. Every 2 hours it circulated the moon. And what they did was they were able to get on its gravitational pull, which bent time and space. So even though 2 hours was passing, it was actually in front of us, but we were behind it, but it was still there, if that makes sense. It's a 20-minute documentary and explains it
As
so
in,
specifically.
like, it's operating on a different time scale to us.
It is, yeah, that's right. But yet it's there. And time hadn't passed. It was hell cool, but it's so close to to where we are today.
It's fucking crazy that the moon moves the oceans.
Yeah.
Like
this spin out.
It doesn't really, like, sometimes I try and this is something from smoking too much medicinal marijuana, which I'm prescribed to. Footnote.
I'm Dutch.
It's like I try and wipe everything that that's going on, like every single rule, everything that like is structured or what's going on, and just go like look around and like what the fuck is going on. There's a big what the fuck moment when you go like, how does the moon do that? And obviously that's part of a system. So you got the moon rotating around the Earth, you got the Earth rotating around the sun, you've got the sun operating in a galaxy, you've got a galaxy. I mean, and then that crazy idea of like, if we zoom out far enough, is that galaxy just part of a cell that's part of something absolutely massive?
Exactly right. Are we just a little cell on our skin right now?
Yeah.
Because the reality is, for gravity to work, it needs to have a basis, which means like we right now, gravity pulled down onto Earth. Same thing with like how the solar system moves. So what is it that solar system is created? What are we attached to, which is causing that?
Yeah. It's funny because, you think of like your cardiovascular system. Is that what I'm talking about? Like your arteries, capillaries, all your shit. You think about that and like the similarity that has to like imagining like you've got the Kwinana Freeway, which then has all its little off ramps.
Yep.
Some are bigger than others, and then they break down to tiny, small ones, and then even break down into alleyways, and then break down into. Oh, that was probably the smallest example. You know, cul-de-sacs and shit, and like how everything is just a constant exchange of energy or information.
I think humans had a lot more abilities though back in the day. We don't have anymore,
bro.
Like,
this is fucking
because this one is something I believe in. Like, no, intuition, all that type of stuff is amazing. But we had like, so when Shadow one day we're in Treendale.
Yeah.
Her best friend was Luna, which is in Dalyellop.
Yeah.
Luna went missing, and like Pete and Arlene were looking for Luna everywhere. The gate was open, so they've assumed that she's escaped, kind of thing. And it'd been about 20, 30 minutes past, and we're like, we'll come over there, we'll help you look.
Yeah.
I couldn't find Shadow. And anyway, ended up going to the backyard, and she's sitting over in the corner of the fence, and she was refusing to move. I've never seen her like that in my life.
Yeah.
And that's when my gut sunk, and I called Pete up and I said, mate, have you looked in the garden? He's like, yeah, I've looked in there. I said, the left-hand corner of your garden.
Yeah.
Like, have a look. And that's where Luna was, passed away.
Hectic.
But Shadow had already,
Yeah.
and she was trying to show us.
Yeah,
you know
already
what I mean?
clued on what was going on.
And back in the World War II and World War One, wives knew when their partners had passed away, sons and like mothers and fathers.
I felt it.
Yeah, but then there's no science backing up how we feel that. Do you know what I mean?
Bro, this living intuitively, again, as a businessman is one thing, and then like trying to incorporate that into your personal life.
Yeah.
The thing that I did, that I've kind of given away the whole story now, but the thing that I did that led me to having my bike impounded was before. Actually, I don't want to talk about it. I just realised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I had an inclination that no, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, this sounds stupid, and like, looking back on it, I'll probably still do it 100 times over. I've had times where I've had intuition tell me one thing, and I've thought about it.
Yeah.
And I've really processed it, and then I've done the opposite to really test that intuition and really F myself over majorly.
Yeah.
And then I go, why didn't I believe in myself?
Yeah.
And I go, like, because we're brought to not think, like we're brought to think in a different way, if that makes sense. But every time,
the problem is intuition has a very similar voice to anxiety.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think like, I remember this one time I was about to go do something really illegal.
Yeah.
Like really illegal, and it wasn't. It was like one of those things where I was like, I'm pretty cool with doing this, and as I went to do it, I was like, I don't think this is a good idea.
Yeah.
It's gonna fucking make me look like a pretty big dickhead to a few people.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah.
And I fucking decided not to do it, and I found out like maybe 4 months later that had I done it, I probably wouldn't be sitting here now.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy. I remember just being like, oh my God, like listening to that one thing in my head that was like, nah, bro, there is times this isn't it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
And now, like, I mean, I even like will, sometimes you catch yourself looking for it.
Yeah.
Something big will be happening and you're like, I'm waiting for the universe to tell me this will be a good or bad thing. And then like the dog winks at you and you're like, fuck, we're on.
Yeah.
But the reality is like, I think when these messages need to be given to you, like having my bike taken away from me, it's like, yeah, dude, there was something greater going on.
Yeah,
you're going to come off. You're going to break your leg.
Yeah.
You're going to fucking paralyze yourself. Whatever we got to do to stop you from doing that, we'll do. Here it is.
Exactly right.
It's fucking weird. And leaning on that intuition is such a like risky skill, because like you really can, like, I mean, if you're going to lean on it with a small decision, you lean on it with a big decision.
Yeah. It's like, I was a teenager and we used to do dirt jump stuff because I used to be a freestyle BMX rider, and we're down the bush one day, and it's a corner block. It's all like, you can't see in the bush, but there's 3 exit points. There's like on this side, there's directly from the corner, or there's this side.
Yeah.
And we'd been building the jumps and all that stuff, and the boys had gone and got all these new shovels and shit. I was like, man, like we can't afford this type of stuff, so who knows where they're going it from.
Yeah.
But they were like, they used to do shit all the time, and I used to stay out of it. And we're building it, and I just felt like I had this weird gut feeling like mum wanted me or something like that.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I was like, oh, I'm just going to go, like, I'll come back. And I've walked my BMX bike out of the bush, right? And as I've walked out to this V section, I've jumped on my bike and I've ridden off. During that exact same time I'm riding off, I didn't know about it, but the exact same time, cops came either side. And arrested them all. They'd broken into a bunch of bloody garden sheds and stole all this stuff. And I had no idea of it. Like,
interesting.
Yeah.
And what does that conviction back then look like now?
Exactly, that would screw me over.
Yeah.
Like,
have you seen that movie? I think it's called Clock Stoppers, or it's like about these kids who have this watch that if you press the stopwatch, it freezes time.
Ben Tennyson? That's my favorite.
No, it's not a
The moment
fucking...
tricks.
Bro, I had to think about that. I'm like, no, that's not it.
Love that show.
I've fucking... It's funny because I watched actually, there's a really good cycling scene opening that movie now I think about it. But yeah, he has this watch.
Yeah.
And, like, he'll press it and it freezes time. And then he, like, meets this chick and she's, like, his sidekick or whatever. And he's like, oh, well, if you're touching me and we do this, it means we both get stuck. And the whole point of the movie was that there was some... thing, obviously bad people are trying to get it because they can freeze time and do things.
Yeah.
But they're trying to figure out how to freeze time and not age.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is, if you had the ability to freeze time like that, like if you had that watch, what would you freeze time for? Like to get shit done or to fucking, like what would be the reason you'd freeze time? And how long for?
So this is one thing, like, that's actually, I've lived by this. Everyone always says, I wish I could go back in time and change things and stuff. But I've always looked at it as a learning path. I wish I could literally go, like, so if I was to freeze time, I would only be freezing time to take a moment to look at what I had.
Yeah, true.
Because like, it sounds stupid to say that. Like, that's coming from my heart, man. Because like, there was a lot of times where I was ungrateful for what I had.
Yeah.
If we're talking about business, like as of right now, so if I had the opportunity right now to use that type of thing, I don't know what I'd do, man. Like, honestly, I'd obviously use it. I'd be intrigued. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'd probably draw a lot of L's on people's heads with a text or something like that. I'd do something stupid like that. I would try my best to get business done, but at the same time, I'd feel like I'm cheating in some weird way. I don't know what I'd do, to be honest.
Yeah, I must admit, now as like an adult, I'm like, fuck, I'd probably get that pitch done. I'd get all the boring work done that doesn't actually take real time. But I feel like that's a slippery slope of like, I'm just going to live my whole life in this thing and then save that for when I'm like with homegirl, with the dog, doing something fun, you know?
Reason I think I look at it in the way I'm looking at it is, so another weird thing I do is I'll rewatch everything. So from the age of, I think it was, must have been 15 till 17 or 18, the movie Click.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler's having fast forward and all that type of stuff. And by doing that, then, you know, so much shit happens. I watch it every single night, over 700 times. Yeah. And even falling asleep to that, it's haunted me because it's like, the truth is that, you know, if we did have that ability, you know, that is how fast the slope would fall down. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And so when people are always like, oh, you know, would you go back in time and change things? I'd be petrified of changing something.
Yeah, nah. I just want to go back to watch it again.
Yeah, I want to watch it again.
Yeah, and to have that third party point of view, like watching me get my heart broken for the first time would have been hilarious. You know? You know, that crying in the shower, your whole body's doing...
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Oh, dude. I'd punch him while he's down there, like, you bitch.
Like, bro, you've been with her for 14 hours.
Nah, dude, my first relationship was like fucking, I wanted, like, I've always had this goal that I want to be the shit. Yeah. I want to have every subject covered, you know what I mean? Like, I want to look good, feel good, be able to do all the things. I want to have all the things to offer. I want to be the ultimate gentleman. Like, I'm just trying to do absolutely everything I can. And unfortunately, for my first girlfriend, she got all of that, or the idea of what all of that was all at once. Yeah. And it's like, I'm trying to be fucking so extravagant and over the top, and I'll spend any amount of money and I'll do whatever it takes and rah, rah, rah. And you actually learn that that's really unattractive. Yeah. You know, being a high value man who has a lot to offer as far as spirit and like soul when it comes to like, I don't have a lot of money at the moment, but Reese knows if there's a job to get done, I'm the guy. Yeah. You know? That's right. It's like, that's heaps more valuable. And it's like that first relationship lasted a tumultuous like 3 years or something. Yeah. And when that was over, it's like, that's the first time I really felt any loss. I've never dealt with death in the family. I never really had any crazy thing happen. And then having that happen, like, it's funny because I was reading some old creative writing the other day and I realized just how fucking broken I was. Yeah. This poor little 21-year-old had just bought a business, just bought a house. Everything was going well. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh, I'm moving to Melbourne. I'm leaving in a week. I've already got my rent sorted. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, where'd that come from? And she's like, oh, you can come with me. And I'm like, do you think that's possible? Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And then just broken. Yeah. Broken. And then you realize now I'm 30. I look back and it's like, oh, it took me like 5 years to recover from that. Yeah. You know? One thing that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life, bro, is like I've had 3 girlfriends. My first relationship was with a girl called Brody. Yeah. And obviously, you know, we were together for a bit and then we broke up and still friends with her and her partner, Michael, who was actually one of my, what's it called? Was in the fire brigade with him anyway. And then Tyler, you know, obviously I own business with her and still good friends with her. But obviously my previous one now, like, it's going to haunt me for the rest of my life because I'm not going to get that opportunity to have that final. So how old are you? 27. Yeah, see, realistically, I mean, I know this is no one wants to hear a fucking white guy say this, especially, but like you've got until 35.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that's unfortunate because women don't have the same opportunity, obviously, because of fertility and because of like they are most aesthetically valuable according to the standards. I'm not saying this isn't my opinion. This is just what I heard. But aesthetically, they're the most valuable between like 18 and 24.
Yeah.
But realistically, an 18 to 24-year-old can date a 27 to 35-year-old.
Yeah.
And shit's all good. They're about the same mental capacity.
That's right. Yeah.
By 30, you just finally get to a point where you're like standing there and you're puffed and you're like, God, I don't want to fuck anything all the time anymore. This is sick. I can think about shit.
Yeah.
You know, what do I actually like here? Because dude, as a guy, I feel like your whole 20s is just dedicated to like trying to blow off as much steam as you can.
Yeah.
So that by the time you get to your 30s, you have some feeling of accomplishment, not in like notches on your belt, but in like, I lived.
Yeah, that's right.
I stayed up late. I partied. I did what I want. I had fun.
Yeah.
You know, I did something.
Yeah.
And now I can just, you see those dudes that take that fucking pent up sexual rage into their 30s, and they're the ones who hate women.
Yeah, that's right. It's messed up.
So, bro, just do something, you know, because this isn't working for you. But I think like, yeah, I mean, what do I know? But you probably hurt for a minute.
Yeah.
But I think also like one thing to remember is like 30 is like peaking.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm already there, but like you've got the exciting next 3 years. You're still in your 20s. You've got everything going on for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even my fucking mum's keen on you.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a fucking joke.
That's like, I've been like, so this sounds crazy. So I'm from a family which has kids very young. So my grandma, so my nana, Barbara, she was 16. My grandma, 16. My mum, 16. My sister, 15.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like my other sister, 18. Like I'm from a young generating family.
Yeah.
So when I was 25, like, so when I was a teenager, I knew that I wanted to buy a business by the time I'm 21.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted to buy a business before I bought a house. And once I've had the house, I'll be comfortable to have kids. And I got to that position and COVID threw it all back because I was ready. I wanted to have kids. Like I was confident in that department. And then, you know, obviously that skewered off, and then having that opportunity I did have to be like, you know, a stepfather and stuff, that was the best thing that I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
To lose that is something which is going to haunt me forever. But exactly what you're saying, you know, I could dwell on it and say, you know, like I've lost that opportunity, or I can look at it as the next 3 years, I've got an opportunity now to really pursue my career, which I want to do.
I think also like, as I said before, like every challenge is like laden with opportunity.
Yeah.
So you go like, okay, that's the best thing you've experienced so far.
Yeah.
You still haven't had your own son or daughter.
Exactly.
And I'm sure you will get to a point if you're this way inclined where you go like, you know what? I fuck with the idea of doing it with this person.
Yeah.
And then you have that experience and you have that son, you have that daughter, and it's like, that experience that I had over here was what it was.
Yeah.
But this is the valuable thing. And now I can look back and go, oh, that compared to this, I know what I choose. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like this whole soul,
Yeah.
especially like, I've only just found this in the past like probably 3 years. My purpose, my deep down bottom dollar purpose is to pass this on.
Yeah.
Not the physical, what's going on, is to create the next generation of bad motherfuckers who will change the world and do it confidently.
Yeah.
Like it was their purpose from the moment they were born.
Yeah.
It's my job to be that guy's father or that girl's father.
Yeah.
Right? So now it's so much easier to look at things like, right, I mean, it's like a business. When you have a mission statement, you can reflect every decision you have to make in that business back to the mission statement. That's why you have a mission statement.
That's right.
Well, my mission statement is, I'm the guy who raises that kid.
Yeah.
So now everything that I do is, that's why I say, go talk to that guy who knows a lot about that thing.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really bother you right now. Who fucking cares about you?
Yeah.
You know, you're building a thing now. You're building an empire of knowledge that you're going to then transmute into this prodigy, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like this here, what you're going through might be a lesson that you're going to teach through a narrative 15 years from now.
Yeah.
You know? And this is the thing, like when you lean on that intuitive way of living, you see everything as like, it's not good or bad, it's not positive or negative, it's something to learn from.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like two things on that, like, which is mind blowing you said that. You're the first person to say what you just said about, you know, your own child, right? And it was last night, like, so like, I get very emotional about it, but I still can't go in his room kind of thing. But last night I had this overwhelming feeling. I thought to myself, you know, if I can care as much as I care, imagine when I have my own kid.
Yeah, it'll be mind blowing.
That I can't even comprehend.
It'll change you.
Exactly right. And so the fact that you just said that then was so weird, because it was like 18 hours ago I had that same explosion in my brain, and it was mind-boggling.
On a similar note but different kind of path, I think one thing that I hear a lot of, like I've had a vasectomy for like 7 years now, so I was very sure at that age. I had some crazy things happen that I'm not going to divulge on camera, that made me lead to like, okay, I can't trust the particular females that I was hanging out with at the time, and I have to be very fucking aware that there are girls in this world that don't see you as a father figure, they don't see you as someone who can provide, they see you as someone who can get them pregnant. Yeah. Right? So obviously that scared me away from that, and that kind of shadowed my whole thought of it. And one of the things that I lent on was like, I don't want to have kids if this is the world that we're living in. Yeah. Right? And just the past 2 months, what's happened with AI and deep fakes and shit like that, scary as fuck. But there's two sides to that coin as well. Okay, so the world's not a great place. Yeah. So we need an Elon Musk to change it. Yeah. What if the next Elon Musk is a Kerr? Yeah, exactly right. You know, what if the next Musk is a Krispyn? Yeah. What if your job is to create the person that changes all this shit? Exactly right. The beautiful mind that from the moment they were born, they were told they can do anything, and they were challenged, and they were put through some sort of oppression, and they were given things that they can get good at or get bad at, and then find things that they like doing, and then translate that into, you know what? I want to be a revolutionary. Yeah. Then let's fucking go. Yeah. You know? So it's on my LinkedIn account. I don't use LinkedIn, by the way, guys. I just have it on my LinkedIn account. Oh, that's the second gayest thing you've said today. On my LinkedIn account. Oh, cool. You got your email address and your 3 numbers that we can contact you on? I did my nails this morning. Yeah, there you go. On my LinkedIn account, it actually says, like, and this, some people understand this, some people won't. So for, so planets be, habitable, so something to live there, it needs water. Yeah. Right? So H2O. So imagine the world being like this, right? You're hydrogen, I'm oxygen, and there's another oxygen. Seb is an oxygen, right? Yeah. He's one thing, I'm one thing, you're one thing. But when we come together and put our minds together, we create that one thing that creates life. Yeah, right? Yeah. So right now you might be a hydrogen and there might be an oxygen on the other side of the world. Yeah. Right? Because you've got wealth of knowledge and that person has another wealth of knowledge. Imagine if we could actually, and we did this properly, and we were able to get the knowledge of others and utilize it. Yeah. If we had the knowledge of like Elon Musk or Albert Einstein or any of those type of people in the reference that their mind was working. Yeah. It'd be incredible. Yeah, but this is the thing, like those blokes are no different to you. Like we have a weird thing because they're in books and because they're like Elon Musk is on Twitter and he's over there, he's in America and he's doing that. We feel very like, especially being in Australia, because we're like on an island in Bunbury. Yeah. We feel kind of alienated. Yeah. But the reality is like, as Steve Jobs said, the world was made by people no smarter than you. Yeah. And like what you can do as one person, like if you look at my kind of catalogue of work from the past 2 years, you're like, fuck, someone can actually make a bit of a change in their town. Exactly. A little bit, nothing crazy, right? But then if you and I sat down once a week and had coffee and it's like, oh, so you're on the council over here, let's say I'm on the council over here, we can start to move a bit more pieces. Right, yeah. We built that mastermind group with 15 players. Yeah. Players. Yeah. And I'm not talking about people who want to sit on boards and people who want to pose that they're doing something. I mean people who fuck with the community, who go and do the thing. If you've got those 15 people every week drinking coffee, not even like just shooting the shit, things move quicker. Oh yeah, you get bigger things happening. You'd be unstoppable. Honestly. Dude, a mastermind group is like, I feel one of the like long-term goals of being in an operation like this. Yeah. It's like having enough people that you consider to be friends and mentors and role models in the same sentence. Yeah. And they feel the same way about you because of your unique information or perspective or ability to execute, Because I might say one thing, and to me it might make sense, but you'll hear it and you'll be like, no, you got to do like this, or say like your idea. But if you didn't say that, if I didn't know you, or if I didn't have that conversation with you, I would never have known that. You know what I mean? So by utilizing that, but we just said then, like, man, my dream, absolutely dream, is to have, that ability on a Thursday night, we can all go out for dinner and like you said, proper players, and actually bounce shit off each other. Yeah. And not be afraid to say, look, this, this, or this is that, and just say it how it is, kind of thing. I think still can be created. The first thing you got to do with that is not have it at a public place. Yeah, that's what I mean, like a private event. Oh, well, then it turns into like, oh, there's that group doing that thing that they do every week. Yeah. It's like, oh, we come in here and support the local pub. It's like, we're not here to fucking support the local pub. Yeah. Like, I know that's a great thing and we can do that on a Saturday night. Yeah, that's right. That's what we do during the week. Yeah, but, I think that's... Dude, and if you're gonna, this is the thing, we're an adult. If we're gonna do this, I may as well do it in like a circular room, no lights on, only the one light down on the table. Make it look like a full fucking war room, It'd be a dream. Dude. Absolute dream. We'll just we'll draw a big map of Bunbury, and dude, I'm fucking up our future political bloody. Yeah. Can you imagine though? Like, it'd be cool as fuck. It's a whole different revolution there. You know what I mean? Like the ability. That's the thing. Like, if I go back
4 years ago and was able to take a snapshot of today,
Yeah.
would I believe it? No way in hell.
Nah, dude.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I went back 6 months and took a snapshot. I'd be like, the fuck.
at Aiden's house, that day we were drinking at Aiden's house, remember?
Yeah. That was...
I can't even remember how long ago that was.
It would have to be 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To take a snapshot bang then. Like,
yeah.
And now be here. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
that is bizarre.
It's mind-boggling. And everything we do is mind-boggling, but
I think
to us we do it like...
Even like the poker night. So obviously the Black Ink team building day.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And then the poker night, like that's a really good, and like obviously the mastermind idea is talking about getting people on a kind of focused intention.
Yeah.
The poker night, the focused intention is like, just be here.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to worry about anything. Yeah, we're playing around with a bit of money, but we're shooting the shit.
Yeah.
You know, smoke some cigarettes, hang out.
Yeah.
It's nice. You know, the whole purpose is to have fun.
That was actually the most appreciable thing ever, because that next day, bro, sounds so weird. Shouldn't say it because you're now going to say the third gayest thing you've ever heard. I had hard nipples all day because I was so pumped, so amped. Like, I was so amped,
it was either I had hard nipples all day or I cried all day. They're fucking... That may be the second or first most gayest thing you've said.
Yeah. Thank you.
Fuck
I'm on to a win here.
Fucking hell. That's it was such an interesting like thing, because obviously like no one knew. It's weird, like how I come up with these things is like I just kind of go, what's the thing that I see in my mind, what does it most like refer back to? And I just wanted to like, it's a dinner essentially, just like everyone come around and eat food and laugh and drink and be merry.
Yeah.
And it's like, unfortunately the modern day version of that isn't like, if you tell a group of boys to come around, especially the boys that we fuck with, I mean they're hard, you know. So you gotta like give it a purpose. And like for me the laughter was like, oh, there's something in the middle, there's exchange, it's poker.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
keep it in mind saying.
Yeah. And like it was the same with the team building day. It's like, what can we do that is just like, when you imagine us all having fun, it's like guns, tattoos, bright lights, literally what I made. Yeah. You know?
Which I'm still hanging for the next one.
Bro, we were talking about it the other day on Sunday. Yeah. And there's an extreme version that's got international travel towards the end of the year. And then there's a more kind of chill version, which I think is just replicating same day, same people, same everything.
Yeah, bloody oath.
And like, I think what I would do is double the price and add in some crazy, like I do have something on the back burners that I could have done that first time and I didn't. I'm like, oh, when you boys arrived at that, you would all shit your pants. Yeah, yeah. And there'd be like certain people going, no, I'm not fucking doing that. And there'd be others like, fucking let's go.
I just love like, was it 10 people there?
Yeah, 11 including the driver.
Yeah. And like to think like some of those no tattoos, like.
No.
And you know, the next one you're like, all right, so like on this day you have to do everything. Like, all right, yeah, killer. Then be like, boom, we're getting tattoos. And we're all like, where should we get it? And I was like, let's get it in our hand. Everyone's like, okay. Like, there's no questions. Okay.
I remember I was like,
this is us, we'll do it.
Dude, I remember when you said that and everyone's like, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm like, I'm pissed and I'll say yes, but I know tomorrow I'm going to fucking hate that decision. Yeah. And literally that night I'm like, oh, you've got such clean hands. Then you put a thing there. It's like, but all the boys did it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's a good reason to have a tattoo there.
I remember like when he's doing it, I was like, wait, these are permanent?
Yeah, dude. And now I think we gotta add to it.
Well, that's like this year, man. So this is through. So this goes back to like a year or 2 years ago maybe. And me and Mum were walking down the estuary, and Mum said to me, she's like, you know, I'm glad you're doing things will get you excited, adrenaline again, because like I come from a very, very adrenaline family. Yeah. And for a long time, I didn't want to do anything because I was too scared to get hurt. And Mum's like, so what are you going to do today? I was like, I don't know. She's like, well, what do you want to do? I said, fuck, we'll get a tattoo, eh? She's like, what are you going to get? I said, I don't know. She said, she came up with some ideas. I said, you know what? Let's see what everyone wants me to get. Yeah. So I posted on Instagram. I said, what tattoo should I get? And some chick just randomly, don't even know who the hell it was. She just messaged me. She said, I dare to get thrills tattooed on you. Yeah. I was like, okay then. And then went up to the tattoo shop and I was like, I want to just get this done. And then they're like, where? And I was like, just put it on my hand, please. Like, yeah. Because I was just like, if I'm going to do it, I want it to be something that, to this day, I remember that conversation with my mum. Do you know what I mean? I got that photo on our Instagram. Like, that was the day that I decided that I can't be too scared. I need to still live my life.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So,
yeah, well, it's that thing where like, now I've got like, yeah, I don't know about you. I never really felt like I had much to fucking, I know it sounds crazy, but I never had much to live for. Yeah, I didn't have like a purposeful life. I was just like, oh, I'm living because I'm born and my parents love me and it's all good. But like now I'm like, I'm fully invested in seeing how far I can take this.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I've really got this purpose, but you can't like one thing that I've found is like you can't let that now give you a different sort of fear with the rest of your life.
That's right.
You still have to do wheelies in traffic.
Yeah.
You still have to do that dangerous shit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I feel like you're missing out on the free 15% of like entertainment on top.
Yeah.
You know, and like when you stop those risks because of this thing over here, then you become someone who takes less risk, and then you lose the thing that made you that in business.
Exactly.
Or in whatever it is that you're living for.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like fucking, you know, I always think like homeboy who does wheelies on his motorbike.
Yeah.
He's got quite a young child, and a few of like my parents especially are just like, what happens if he comes off and hurts himself? And that it's like, he was going to do that with or without a child.
That's
I know
right.
like you think like now he's got a child, he's got more to live for. It's
Yeah.
like, some people are just going to be animals their whole life, and that child's now going to grow up saying, oh yeah, my dad's an animal.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
You know, and like he has every intention of teaching his kid to do that.
That's the key word, live. Like if he does that and then he has a kid and he doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
That's who he is. That's who he is.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
it's like how many people you speak to, like, oh, back in my younger day, I was in the fucking state round of motocross.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, who cares about that?
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, my dad came home one day, he's taking the 480 out, pissed his maggot, going out on the 480. We used to like ride our bike straight from a house out on the highways and
Yeah,
shit.
why
like
wouldn't you? In
that.
Manji.
It's how we roll kind of thing. And he comes back one day and he stole it. Gone, Dad stole the bike, what a loser.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and his thumb's hanging down.
Ugh.
And I was like, that doesn't look right. Dan's like, why don't you go back in the fucking play?
Fuck.
Wobbling it around and shit. And he basically had to go up to the hospital. When he got to the hospital, they had to do surgery and stuff on it. But the doctor was about playing golf and had a few drinks.
Yeah.
So when he came there, he smelled the bourbon straight away. And the guy's like, oh, you know, I shouldn't be doing this. Dad's like, oh, who cares? I'm on the
get
beers,
into
you're on the
it.
beers, let's do it. So Dad has a really messed up thumb, so he can't do anything. And coincidentally, Dad also is missing that exact same tooth.
Yeah.
When I had that accident and I stuffed my thumb up, my thumb's exactly like Dad's now.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird inculation between my dad with his injuries and
Oh,
my
yeah.
injuries, and like, which also resonates for me, like that I'm him, and you know, I see what he does to this day. He's like 50 something years old, 52 years old. And if you told him, man, you had a freestyle ramp out there and you told him jump on the 480 and try something,
Yeah,
he's probably going to try and do twice that. Like,
Yeah.
he just loves it, lives it.
There's something about that though.
Yeah.
There's something about like, it's funny because like I look at blokes that are, you know, it's easy when it's your parents' age. I look at blokes that are the same age as my dad, and like you try and get a gauge on like, obviously hitting 30 is like, fuck, I'm like an adult, and obviously like I'm going to hit 35 and it becomes apparent that one day I'm going to be 50, I'm going to be 60, and then you start looking at your parents a bit differently, and then you start looking at older people differently, and you hopefully a little bit more empathetic and a little bit more what's the word when you're just like a little bit more generous with your time and with your energy and that, because you're like, oh, they're just fucking old, you know. But one big thing is like, I'm not calling my parents old, I'm just saying older people, but one thing is like I really look at, okay, is my dad the pinnacle of what is possible at that age?
Yeah.
You know, like Rogan and my dad are very similar ages.
Yeah.
And like Rogan is, without competing, a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You know, a bodybuilder who can whack the fuck out of a bag with his feet or his hands. And then you start going, okay, what about the 63-year-old truck driver who smokes a pack a day and is very sedentary in his activity and that? And then you go, oh, cool, okay, ridden with fucking health issues and like also very negative mind frame, doesn't. So you go, okay, there's a scale. A mile man probably sits somewhere in the middle of that.
Yeah.
So now what does that mean for the next 30 years?
Yeah.
What sort of routine or structure or like schedule can I keep to lean more towards a guy who can whack a bag and defend himself or do whatever it is at that age, and not be the guy who accidentally ends up smoking a fucking pack of darts a day?
Exactly right, yeah.
You know?
Which is, what you do today is going to affect you tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%.
People don't realise that. Everything has a like consequence.
I fucking have to have KFC once a week. I can't help it.
You're talking to a dude who's already had McDonald's twice today.
Yeah, true. That's a flex too. You know it's a flex when, two things, when you get to the Macca's drive-through, they know it's you who put the black ink sticker on there, and they know what your order is.
Yeah, that's killer.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
I just love going through my McDonald's because it's got the black ink sticker.
Where's the Street X black ink sticker competition happening?
That's in Trindale, bro. It's happening all the time.
Really?
I go in there all the time and someone else put one over there and I pull it off. The next day someone else put a black ink on there. And I'm trying to work out, where are you printing this many black ink stickers and who is it what keeps slapping it on?
Putting them on?
Yeah, because like,
There's two people. There's two people putting them on.
Because the black ink was there and then someone else put one over top of it. Then someone ripped that off. But then that same person went back and then there's another business And there's like a multitude of different companies which keep doing it.
That's sick.
Yeah, and obviously we brought all the uniforms off the other day.
Yeah.
So I grabbed a few, you got all the stickers and stuff in there.
Yeah.
So I grabbed one and there was the rainbow one. I slapped that on there today. So,
True.
No, yesterday.
True.
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, yeah, doing it with Street X stickers. Like, if there's a Street X sticker on top of mine, you fucking leave it alone.
Yeah, it's the...
Fuck with Street X.
it's like a... Who was it? It was like a lawnmower business the other day.
Oh, yeah. The original one was a fucking YouTube channel, like a fishing YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like, bro, put your sticker anywhere but on top of mine.
Bro, it's a massive yellow pole. There's lots of room for a sticker.
30 subscribers.
Yeah.
Like, suck my black ink dick.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I couldn't believe that when he put it over my sticker. It's like, honestly, if you're going to do this, like, stick a bomb the joint. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, okay. And like, I got that first bit of content out of it because I said, right, anyone who puts a sticker over this or rips theirs off, they get a shirt. And homeboy, Christy Max, awesome Instagram name as well.
Yeah.
Peeled the sticker off and put one over the top of mine and sent me the video. I made a cool reel. It was like, great bit of content. I went back like a month later and I saw there was a sticker over mine. And I was like,
bro, it keeps happening.
I'm not even going to do anything about this. Like, do you understand the fucking reach that my stickers have? Yeah. I don't even need to put it on my story.
There's people already doing it, man. Because I go to McDonald's multiple times a day.
I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, dude,
multiple times.
Go for it. Yeah. You know?
Like, there's a war out there, and no one even knows about it.
Wait, and you know what?
Yeah.
The stickers will not stop coming from me.
That's right.
I have to print stickers every day on that machine to keep it regular. Yeah. So they're not going to stop.
Yeah.
You know?
It's killer. I think even McDonald's workers just now know.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So what I need to do is get them on payroll as well.
Yeah. Well, see, I've done heaps of YouTube videos with like eating McDonald's and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like they love me now, bro. Like sometimes when I go through there and like I'll just have the camera sitting next to me.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, what? We're so excited. We thought you were going to do like a YouTube video.
Oh,
like,
yeah, drive past and do
like, because like obviously I talk to them and all that type of stuff. But man, my local Australind McDonald's is the best.
I'm actually, did I tell you what happened last night with the cyclists?
No.
So I did my social skate. And then I've like gone up, I actually did this fucking massive effort along Bonnefoy Boulevard, ripped onto Jetty Road, which is like the jetty. And as I've like come around, I had heaps of pepper, like just cruising. I go past these cyclists and they're like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I didn't really recognize them. So I like come back, I'm like, you guys...
Oh, is that the video?
Yeah, I was like, you guys getting content right now? Because I had a SLR and he had a drone there.
Yeah.
And he's like, and they're like, yeah. I said, look, give me 10 minutes. I'll get you fucking footage that will be better than anything you can imagine.
Yeah.
They're like, all right. So we just did one lap up and back and around the fucking roundabout. Yeah. And I was showing them their clips and they're just like, what the fuck? This is nuts. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I get excited about this. And like, that was a perfect opportunity where it's like, I'm already on my skates. It's sunset. I've wanted to shoot cyclists. I wanted to shoot cyclists on this road. Yeah. Who gives a fuck if you don't know them? Just give them the content for free. Use it as like as an exercise. And now, like, obviously with that in mind, like I kind of am just looking at everything like, what can I make content out of? Yeah. You know, like how do I, and like I want to do like a runners club. I want to do like small business. Yeah. Anything that I can just go in and make content for just for the sake of them saying like, fuck, that video that you posted, they're like, yeah, Black Ink did that. Yeah. You know, Black Ink, or here he is here. Yeah. So it's fucking that because I think the thing that everyone wants at the moment is content. I do, yeah. You know, like
content is everything.
Even fucking 18 to 25-year-old chicks, like the new thing now is doing these Baudelaire or Baudu shoots where they go and like dress up in lingerie and do like low lighting photo shoots to post on Instagram. Yeah. Which I don't 100% understand, but I guess at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you see a business making cool content, you're like, well, what's my business? And you're like, oh, people pay attention when I post my hard nipples on my shirt, so I guess it must be that. Yeah. You know?
Which is weird, because like if I do like a video where I take my shirt off, I get so many more views. It's weird.
Dude, it's fucking muscles and tattoos, bro. Yeah. It's crazy. I've like made the thing to not flex my tattoos because I don't want to be the guy who just has... Yeah. You know, what's homeboy's name that has all the tattoos? He's also got muscles, and he's like everybody's fucking ambassador.
Oh, Jackson
Tippett. Yeah. And it's like fully appreciate what he does, but it's like I see what your image is, and I don't think that's what Black Ink is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Like mine, like, because I've also only just started like posting again and stuff, but like one thing I'm trying to avoid, and that's why like I love, like, my daughter is my puppy Shadow. Yeah. I love having contact with her in it because like I'm a very emotional but also very caring person. Yeah. And I hate posting if I just post topless shirts, people just get this image of me. Yeah. So that's why I love doing videos with her. So, but by having my shirt off, I get both engagements. I get people that love dogs and people that love tattoos. Like, it's spin out.
Yeah, it's fucking... it is weird how those like, you know, I posted a picture of a girl in a black ink G-string, 200 likes.
Yeah.
You know, you post a video of a dude doing a wheelie on a Harley, 200 likes.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, I post a motivational Monday thing, 16 likes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I actually have shit to do today.
Yeah, I gotta get to a meeting.
And I'm just about to start sweating, so you must be fucking boiling.
I'm actually really hot in here, eh?
Yeah, well, I got to turn the aircon off, otherwise it fucks with the sound.
Yeah, that's cool, bro.
Yeah.
That's good as gold.
So,
massive thank you.
Everyone, this was a Black Ink podcast. My name is Jake Kerr. I'm your host. Today I was joined by Dakota Krispyn, who is a councilman for the Shire of Harvey. He is the owner of an owner of Blade Cartel, and owner of Anytime Fitness, and an owner or the owner of...
Dynamic tinting windscreens, yeah.
Yeah, Dynamic Tinting and Windscreens, which are all out in Australind, Treendale. Check them all out. Like and subscribe. Do the thing, because we're fucking out. Yeah!